There's something in the air. It feels finals-like, as it should, because it's not quite September, but the chances either of these sides have to get there hinge very heavily on today. It is, to all intents and purposes, an elimination final in the second last round of this AFL season. Welcome to Giant Stadium, welcome to Grandstand AFL as the finals picture continues to take shape. My name is Brett Sprigg and Daniel Garb is alongside me here to call the action. Hello, Garby.
Lovely conditions here in Sydney on a Saturday for, yes, a virtual elimination final. The Giants have to win their final two games to make it. Maybe a miracle can help the Bombers sneak in if they win just one of their last two. Both teams, though, stuttering a bit. The Giants have lost their last two. The Bombers have snuck past North Melbourne and West Coast in recent weeks, so they don't come into this game in the best of form, but the stakes are enormous. Can't wait for it.
Keeping an eye, by the way, on the game at Carrara, where Charlie Curnow's kicked a goal in time on in the last quarter to make it a one-point game. Gold Coast still lead the Blues there, and earlier at the MCG, where most of you have just joined us from, Richmond beat North Melbourne by 29 points there. As to matters here, one late change for Essendon. Jake Stringer, who was named to return from a foot injury, he will be their sub, and a former Giant in Jai Caldwell joins the 22. Sam Draper for the first time since round 13. He's back in. He's had a hip injury, making way are Kane Baldwin and Nick Bryan. Will Smelling, who was last week's sub, also is omitted. For the home side, they lost Nick Haynes to illness, and Jacob Ware, who replaced him last week as sub, he's out. In comes Toby Bedford and Brent Daniels, both back from suspension, while the sub this week is last week's debutant for the Giants in Toby McMullen. Bounce down not too far away here. Our experts are former Swan and Blue, Jason Saddington.
Hello, Spriggy. Hello, Garby. Good to be here for this game, and I tell you what, the big ins that you've named for both teams make a big difference to this game. And we look at the last couple of weeks of both teams as well. Obviously, Essendon have come off two wins. Only just, though, against
the two worst sides in the comp.
Well, that's right. So you wouldn't say that their form's outstanding, but they're still in the hunt, they're still in the mix, and that's what makes this a massive game. And the Giants have had two disappointing losses. I mean, to lose the derby against the Swans obviously is tough, but then probably a bit of a smashing from Port last week in Adelaide. But the ins, coming back to the ins, so for Essendon to have Draper back in to go up against Briggs is massive. Caldwell in and Stringer as a sub, you know, if the game's tight at the end, to bring Stringer on is a huge win. But also for the Giants, you know, Bedford and Daniels, that speed in the front half's huge for them. So massive ins for both teams.
Premiership winning Swan Tyconelli is here as well. Hello to you.
Yeah, hello guys, and good afternoon everyone that's listening. Yeah, it's great. It's finals early, elimination final. And I'll tell you one thing, if you are going, either one of these teams are going to play finals, this is exactly the preparation that you want coming into finals. You play two games that you have to win to play finals. You would hate to play either side in a final because of the fact that they're playing finals 2 weeks early, and it's, 19th of August. It's great, and there's a big crowd here. Essendon do travel well up to Sydney, so it's all to play for, and I'm certainly looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to the Giants to see how they handle the setbacks that they've had the last couple of weeks, and how they just derailed them a small bit with 7 in a row.
Well, defensively last week, they were shut down well by Port. They took strong marks themselves, but couldn't clear the ball beyond defensive 50, and Port just locked them in, which is what good final sides, top four sides as Port are, will do to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, again, this though comes back to the ins for the Giants. So Bedford and Daniels, both speed, huge speed players. And when we talk about the Giants having the orange tsunami back this year, they're two players that really get that ball movement going off half back. So they really missed that last week to have them both.
I reckon this is going to be lightning.
Yeah.
This game is going to be lightning. This will be an open.
Yep.
Port Adelaide and Essendon, very different teams defensively. Essendon trying to take the game on. Now, Scotty's obviously trying to bring in some defensive side into the game compared to Essendon last year, but this game is going to be extremely fast, and you'd think that's what the Giants did for the 7 weeks, and they had 7 in a row. They're going after the game, and that tsunami was coming, so I'm really looking forward to an attacking style tonight.
At Carrara, a goal to Harry Mackay means the Blues are now in front by 4 points. About 6.5 minutes left in that game there. We'll keep across that while the bounce down here is just seconds away. Toss one, by the way, by Toby Green. The Giants will kick to the scoreboard end here at Giant Stadium for this Saturday twilight fixture. What a game Nick Martin played last week as well. There are certain guys in the Essendon team having a breakout year. Nick Martin last week in that game against North Melbourne, whereas he kicked 3 goals, had a career best 32 disposals in that game against North.
And Cole Langford, 48 goals for the season. He's been the other big surprise packet.
He's all Australian. Like, he's a half forward kicking goals.
48 for the campaign. Only Taylor Walker and Charlie Curnow have kicked more than him over the last 4 or 5 weeks. and Nick Martin's the other one who's been mentioned in all Australian dispatches. And then Peter Wright's back and also in good goal-kicking form despite missing a massive chunk at the start of the season. So they have really big threats against the Giants' defence that we know has been one of the best in the competition over the last 2 months.
Your texts are welcome as always, 0437 774 774. Still some massive games to come, of course. St Kilda, Geelong at Docklands, Adelaide, Sydney, still a huge game for both the Crows and the Swans. So all those games still to come later on tonight. We'll keep you across all of that with the Giants and the Bombers not too far away here. Let's head boundary side. Declan Byrne is there for us. G'day, Deck.
G'day team. Yeah, the sun is shining here in Sydney. The ground almost all in shade, but it's about 18 degrees. There is a bit of a wind towards that scoreboard end where the Giants are kicking towards. And yeah, as you mentioned, a pretty solid crowd filling in. They had 19,000 for the derby a couple of weeks ago. Haven't cracked 5 figures for a few years though, so we'll see if they can do it today.
It's just about do or die in round 23. Penultimate round of the season here at Giant Stadium. Bright sunshine here in Sydney. To get us underway here on Grandstand AFL, here's Daniel Garb.
A virtual elimination final between the Bombers and the Giants. Plenty of Essendon fans have made the trip or come out from wherever they reside in Sydney to support their team. Lots of orange in the stands as well. Sam Draper's back in the middle for his first game since round 13. And Kieran Briggs is the opposing ruckman, and he wins the ball after the first bounce of the game. Darcy Parish puts a tackle on Josh Kelly though, so we'll have a ball up next to the centre circles. Umpire throws it up quickly, down by Draper to Perkins. They squeeze it out to Andy McGrath. He loses the handle though. Brent Daniels back in the team after suspension. He's in at the stoppage trying to win it for the Giants.
Ball in the air towards the outer wing, slapped away cleanly here by Draper, reaching for it, Whitfield for the Giants. First grab hands, Cornelio. Now Collier taken high on the outer side. It will be a free kick to the Giants, and that coming from the outer wing here at Giant Stadium. Shields his eyes from the sun. Wheels around now. High ball inside 50. Giants with the first entry at the back. It's picked up in defence by Laverty. Needs a clean pair of hands. Does so now. It wasn't so clean though from McGrath as it goes out of bounds for a throw-in on the junction of 50 at right half forward for the Giants. Attacking the scoreboard end to start here in the Olympic Park precinct or the Sydney Showground. The Giants with a stoppage inside their full half.
Interesting early at these stoppages. Essendon pushing numbers high up into the stoppage, leaving Ash and Himmelberg both free for the Giants.
Draper down to Perkins, squeezes it out. The handball back into traffic though. Now the Bombers work it out to Parish. So he can send Essendon up to the wing. Coming across is Taylor with the intercept possession. Off hands, Iden. The handball to Himmelberg. Further up the outer wing to Cornelio. Has to snap on his left. And it's a clever ball into Briggs. He was outnumbered 4-on-1. But Cornelio's kick found the big ruckman. He's marked just behind centre half forward. Kicks inside 50. Riccardi comes out to meet it. Couldn't grab it. Daniels on the snap. Roving. It'll bounce through for the first of the game. Brett Daniels back in the team. And with the first of the afternoon, clever work front and centre. And the Giants are 1 straight 6. Bombers yet to score early stages of the first.
Clever work from Cornelio. What about the kick inside? He's tight on the punch and he snapped it to the centre half forward on his left. And a true crumbing goal. If you're ever going to see one, get to the key. Now, Riccardi should have taken the mark itself, but you know, the small forwards there at the feet just in case something happens, and he'll do that all day. And you talked about that, Jason, at the start of it before the game, with Daniels coming in, that speed and his ability to get to the feet of the contest and clinical finish.
He's had a fantastic season, as we've spoken about numerous times across the year. And we mentioned Langford as a great forward for the Bombers, but Daniel's improvement this year, his breakout season really for the Giants, has been outstanding, and what an in today and what a great start for Binger.
At Carrara, Carlton by 11 late there. Giants with the first here at Giant Stadium. Back in the middle. Kelly tries to clear now for the home side on hands and knees. Hand pass off to Tom Green. Gets it away in time despite the closing tackle of Ben Hobbs. Goes inside 50. Picked up again. This time by Nick Hind in defence. They pile in from all angles. Hind to McGrath. Just stumps it beyond defensive 50. On the bounce it sits up for Ash of the Giants. Goes back inside 50 now for GWS, but it's intercepted again by the former Saint in Nick Hind. Giants
doing all the attacking early. Can the Bombers get some run? Hind finds Parish in the middle of the ground. Handball to Merritt. Almost lost it. Regathered. Then to Draper and back to Parish. Now finds McGrath. Bombers go deep into attack, and marking is Langford. Their danger man inside 50. Found some space in attack, and he will kick from straight in front, 35 out.
His opponent, Jack Buckley, just got completely lost sight of the ball, lost sight of his opponent. was caught in no man's land, and Langford just watching the footy well, read it to just come at it and had a good couple of metres on Buckley.
And you mentioned it before, Jason, the half forwards coming up high and streaming back extremely hard towards goal as we sign that instant and then doubling back.
He's 8th in the Coleman race, Kyle Langford. Nobody would have picked that start of the season for goal number 49 of the campaign. He is such an accurate kick, and that's on display yet again. Scores level here at Giant Stadium. 1 straight, 6 apiece, 4 minutes into the first term.
Well, I think you called it pre-game, Tig, that this might be a really open affair in the first 4 minutes. Have certainly suggested that, both teams on the scoreboard with a goal. But like you said, Essendon just getting their numbers up high and then being able to run and gun through the middle with the extra numbers in that wave of players coming through allowed him to go inside 50. And Langford, again, off that fantastic season he's having, confidence is up. It's amazing what it does for you to just really trust your instincts, and he's certainly playing that way.
And when you kick one early in a game too, you're up and about, aren't you?
Yep.
It makes it tough for Buckley.
1 straight, 6 apiece. Goal to the Gold Coast Suns. It's a 5-point game there with 3 minutes left, so we'll keep an eye on that. Now a little around the ground service. Back in the middle here, though, up goes Draper opposed to Briggs. Cornelio first pair of hands. Good pressure, though, comes from Perkins. Giants with the clearance, though. Whitfield clean hands. Rebounding off half-back. Ash towards half-forward. Spots up the chest and finds Callum Brown. 70 from goal here, though, for the Giants. End-to-end stuff early on here for the first 5.5 minutes. The Irishman plays on. Goes inside forward 50. Top of the square, Hogan. Out-bodying Zirk Thatcher. Takes a clean grab, 15 out, slightly left of centre.
The minute he marked that ball, Brown, Hogan wanted it. He was calling for it for, we got balance at 10 seconds when he had that mark. He wanted it, and then great to see a key forward demanding the ball and then obviously taking the mark convincingly against his opponent.
8 goals in his past 4 games, 32 on the year. Goalless just once since round 11, Jesse Hogan. What a career resurgence it's been for him at his 3rd AFL club. Hogan, slight angle, makes no mistake. Giants have their second. 2 straight 12. Greater Western Sydney leads Essendon 1 straight 6. 6.5 minutes having been played in this first term here on Grandstand AFL.
And he has had that resurgence in terms of his career. He's back on track, but he is one of the most vital players for the Giants in their structure and their setup. And we've seen that the past couple of weeks since he's been back in the team. He missed a couple of weeks in injury. But him being that big, strong, marking contested player allows, he plays it well, but allows Riccardi to be that more leading mark type player. And we've seen him kick goals the last couple of weeks. Jesse Hogan is almost one of the most important players for the Giants in terms of their setup.
Bit of Red Hot Chili Peppers in the background for that Jesse Hogan goal. 2 straight 12, the Giants. Essendon 1 straight 6. A lively start to what is a crucial game. That bounce from the umpire doesn't quite match the quality on display early, so he'll bring it back and throw it up. Andrew Phillips, the former Giant, in the ruck now. Darcy Parish extracts it from the middle again on his left, kicks to left half forward. Himmelberg just watched it better than the rest, is able to gather. Lockie Ash has been busy, but his kick is smothered inside defensive 50. Perkins pounces, turns it over the Ash though, and he is then well tackled. We'll have a ball up in attack for the Bombers, who trailed by a goal, 7.5 got in the first.
Now, we have seen Ash and Himmelberg in the game earlier. It does seem like that sort of game, Todd. Who's going to make the most off the half-back line? It's going to be a lot of goals and wave of possession scored off half-back.
Tom Green to Cornelio. It's out of traffic here towards the other side. Redmond there for the Bombers. Lays off the hand pass to Zirk Thatcher. It's his 50th AFL game today. Brendan's kick almost a turnover. It's mopped up by his captain in Merritt. Fires the hand pass back to Hine. Goes inside 50 again. It's a contest down there. Nice work in defence from Perryman to make the contest late on Guelphy. Ricochets all the way back to left half forward for Hine. Puts the Bombers back inside 50 again. They crash the pack, and Peter Wright goes up there first. It's off hands and over for a throw-in in the left forward pocket at the Olympic Stadium end. Giants 2 straight 12. Essendon 1 straight 6. 8.5 played first term.
Lose up by 5 points over the Suns. Final moments of that game. We'll keep you updated with the score. Briggs tries to clear defensive 50 from the boundary throw-in. Saddis watches it all the way over the boundary line under the close checking of Callan Ward. Another boundary throw-in just outside attacking 50 for Essendon. Giants 2 straight 12. Bombers 1 straight 6. Essendon have lost 5 of their last 6 at Giants Stadium. Need to win badly today. Boundary throw in favours Nick Martin. Briggs with the clearance from that stoppage. It bounces up the wing. Toby Green gets hands on the footy for the first time today. Himmelberg, quick one to Lloyd. Inboard to his captain in green, running off him for the handball. Kicks inside 50 through the hands of Lockie Keefe. Heppel is back there for the Bombers, showing a bit of composure, but then he put Laverde under pressure. He was well tackled. We'll have a ball up in attacking 50 for the Giants.
Noah Anderson's missed a shot there for the Gold Coast Suns in the last 35 seconds. It's 4 points Carlton's lead at Carrara with 28 seconds left. Keep an eye on that. Early stages here, though. The Giants leading by 6 points. Stoppage inside 50. Hand pass from Cornelio to Tom Green. High snap toward the top of the square. Lockie Keefe spills the one-hander. Mopped up here by Happel in defence for the Bombers. And the former skipper retreats and rushes it through for a minor score. It's going to be a free kick, he's saying. It was dealt with after the fact, so it's going to be no change to the score, and it will be a free kick for Dyson Heppel at left full back. 10 going here first term. Giants 2 straight 12, Essendon 1 straight 6.
Charlie Curnow's gone deep in defence and taken a massive mark with 10 seconds to go to save the game for the Blues, it seems. Here's Callan Ward just outside, attacking 50 for the Giants. Pumps them deep into attack. Lockie Keefe almost took the mark. Hogan's there, gets a handball out to Isaac coming now. Daniel Lloyd announced his retirement during the week. The snap-on goal is just wide through for a behind, and the Blues have held on against the Suns.
So they win by 4 points. They'll keep 5th spot for now. They were down by as much as, 30 points at one stage, early stages there. But Carlton survive that scare against the Gold Coast Suns. Giants by 7 points here. Nick Himes plays on from the kick-out. It's contested ball inside 50 though, as Happel just knocks it out here into space for Jake Kelly. His kick's a turnover as well though. Buckley on the outer wing here for the Giants. Comes inboard now for Toby Green. Loads up from 60. No one's back there in the goal square. All the way for Toby Green. And a captain's goal early on for the GWS Giants. 3-1-19. Leads Essendon 1 straight 6. 11 go on first term. Grandstand AFL. Ty Connelly and Jason Saddington.
Jack Buckley might have given up a goal, but he's got one back with his aggressive positioning on his opponent, but also some good pressure. And the Giants' pressure from their forwards has been a highlight thus far, and putting that defender under pressure on the exit, which allowed Jack Buckley, the defender, to stand in front. But I also like the fact that he just played on straight away. And as you know, Toby Green didn't turn around, turned and faced the game, and just played on straight away and kicked it from 60. And you're not too sure what he's going to do when he gets the ball, Toby, but when he does get it, more often than not, it's good things, and a nice finish, wasn't it?
He was probably slightly surprised, Toby, to have so much free space around him. It's very rare that, he has a good 5-10 metres of free space with that opponent right up on him. So, smart play to just, pick the goals from 60 with everyone else up.
He could go berserk today, Toby. It's got the makings of that sort of game.
It does. It's an open game.
It's his game, you're right.
Yeah, he loves the big moments. He's the skipper. But the Bombers are showing a fair bit early as well. They go inside 50. Well picked up by Perriman, deep in defence. Handball to Iden. And then they go to half-back and find Isaac Cumming. So the Giants with a 13-point lead midway through the first term as Redmond just knocks it over the boundary line. Out of side, the shadows have now extended over Giants Stadium, so the players can stop shielding their eyes from the sun. But that hasn't prevented the opening stages to this game from being pretty enjoyable to watch.
Giants by 13. Back in it comes on the outer logo. Briggs just manhandles Draper, fires a hand pass out into the space here in front of Tom Green. Traps it now, does the prodigious youngster, goes towards half forward, bounced away from Redmond, and Hogan can't keep it alive. Going to throw in 45 around from the Giants attacking goal.
It's unusual to see Sam Draper manhandled, isn't it? I mean, Kieran Briggs, he's had a fantastic year. He's a lump of a lad. He's still young. It's a breakout season for him as well. He's really grabbed this number 1 ruck spot for the Giants.
Did you catch the Giants banner before the game? I'll read it to you in a sec when I get a clean look at things, but it's wrapped up here inside 50 for the Giants. I'll recite it word for word, Garby. You pick it up here. The Giants by 13.
They are 6-1 in clearances also, the Giants at the minute. The dominance at the moment gives them front half footy.
Callan Ward just grubbers one 5 metres forward, but Bombers are back there and able to clear defensive 50. Durham's well tackled by Whitfield. The Bombers had options there if Durham was able to get his hands free. Whitfield prevented that. Ball up on the outer wing. Here's McGrath trying to pick it up at half-back. Daniel Lloyd meets the first though. Tom Green with the handball over his head. Turned over, though, into Essendon hands, and Andrew McGrath kicks him to left half forward. Himmelberg tries to work Phillips under the football, but Phillips held his feet. Sweeping handball inboard. Coming out to meet it, though, is Perryman of the Giants. He's well tackled, so it's tough in the clinches early. We'll have a ball up again on that outer side. The Giants lead by 13
It's
points.
been a long time. The Bombers have waited. Last time they won a final, we weren't even created. Essendon fans. Goodness me. Giants by 13 points early here. Cleared away from the congestion. It's going to come back here for an Essendon free kick.
The iPhone wasn't created either.
Yeah. I'm sure they've
Sorry,
heard it all
Bombers
before.
fans.
Bombers fans have heard it all before as far as that finals drought. Playing for their season today, both of these sides. Parrish loads up, deep in attack here for the Bombers. Himmelberg goes up in defence, overrun by Buckley. He tries again. While Ward goes to gather, umpire says let's ball it up. 30 out from Essendon's goal. Olympic Stadium end.
What year was that?
2004. Phillips knocks it down, but Isaac Cumming clears it from defensive 50. They're doing a good job of that at the moment, the Giants, just getting rid of trouble early as Toby Green is wrapped up by Andy McGrath and Jake Kelly. The ball up just forward of centre for Essendon, who trailed by 13, 15 minutes gone in the first. Knocked down by Ward, and then Bedford. McGrath, he's been really busy early. A number of possessions, his kick is smothered. Gathered now by Caldwell, the former Giant, and the late in. Handball's backing for Redmond. He did well, just a hip and shoulder. Lockie Keefe off the football, and then get it to Parrish. Now to McGrath again. Perkins has it, checks inside. High ball into attack. Langford's underneath it. Buckley swats it away from him. Looking for it is Durham. Whitfield falls on top of the football. We'll have a ball up inside 50. Good pace to this game. Giants lead by 13 points.
So, Tig, you're an outstanding halfback back in your day. So it's an interesting game for the halfbacks. And you're going to get a great look offensively, but defensively you're going to be under the pump.
Yeah, you can't go too far one way, and this is a game like that. You know, things could fall your way, but if you take too much of a chance, and it looks like Jack Buckley's doing that a bit. He's a bit fumbly, you know, he's not a traditional halfback, but he's playing very aggressive.
Riggs taken high, free kick, and he tries to find Himmelberg, who's also dealt with late by Draper. So it's advantage paid here for the Giants. Up the corridor they go. Looked out in space by Hogan. On the bounce, searching through Tom Green. Hand pass to the veteran Ward. Pops it inside 50. Bedford gets back there. Judged it well. Takes the mark on his chest. 35 out directly in front.
Yeah. Tom Green's bit of acceleration to actually attack that ball. You know, you people talk about him not having a whole lot of speed, but that 1 to 2 metres of acceleration to actually go, you know what? That pill's 50-50. It's mine. I'm going getting after it. And that ability to actually get his hands free in an aggressive handball allows Toby to shot a goal.
He's had the 8 possessions already. Tom Green strong around the contest. It's for Essendon fans, disappointed that drop mark from Mason Redmond just allowed the Giants, rather than Essendon going back inside 50, just allowed the Giants to pick up the loose ball.
Bedford, one of the best small forwards in the competition. On the approach, his kick. Look, don't leave it in enough. Got the desired result. The Giants have their fourth. 4-1-25. Essendon won straight 6. 17 going first term here on Grandstand AFL. Declan Byrne on the boundary.
Yeah, Nick Hines about to come back on. He had some strong conversations with his captain and then coaches after that turnover, which led to the Toby Green goal. So we'll see if that affects his confidence heading back out there now.
You look at Toby, obviously, the ability that he's got, and speed and acceleration and talent and foot skills. The guy alongside him right now in Lloyd, it just was such a role player for the last 10 years at the football club, and he epitomises everything about a footballer with your work rate and your ability just to get the most out of yourself. And some talented young fellas don't do that anymore. He's the epitome of hard work and playing your role in the football club, and you hope Toby and the younger players like that can take that from him.
Averaged 24 possessions a game over the last month. Callan Ward started strongly here as well. The Giants, with the fast start, they lead by 19 points, 18 minutes gone in the first term. Ward wins another clearance. Lockie Keefe doing the secondary ruck work with a high up and under in the middle of the ground, and then Ward watched it all the way with all of that courage that you speak of and took the mark when no one else wanted it. The kick is off target though. Zerk Thatcher in his 50th game marks it in defensive 50. Callan Ward, that was a joy to watch from the veteran.
Playing on next year, Cal Ward?
Yep. Got a 1-year deal. Through till the end of next season.
Thatcher beyond defensive 50 here for the Bombers. Up they go. In fact, it was only really Isaac Cumming who kept his feet, kept his eyes on the foot. He takes an uncontested mark, goes inside 50 now. Awkward low ball for Callum Brown. Beats Heppel to the ball now. Opens up the angle. Snaps from 40 on the run. The Irish love this, don't they? It curls back, but not enough. That's a minor score. 4-2-26.
Only some of us.
Bombers won straight 6. 19 gone first term.
I wanted him to mark it and kick it from 60. Yeah,
That was a round ball. He would have kicked it through.
That's right.
The old Gaelic ball.
I'm a bit disappointed with that.
You did see a couple of high balls of late, like Callum Ward took the one uncontested. Even Isaac Cumming, it was uncontested. You probably want to see a bit more of a contest in those high balls in the marking situation from the Bombers at the moment.
Redmond brings the ball back into play for Essendon. Draper's underneath it, but once again, the Giants win it at the source. Kelly to Cumming, and now Ward again with the left foot kick looking for Riccardi. Couldn't mark it. Falls to Hogan though. Handball aimed for Lloyd. Couldn't collect it. And now Hine gathers for Essendon. Menzie and now Redmond on his left. Good kick to hit up Hobbs and relieve some pressure. The Giants had the chance there through Riccardi to take the contested mark deep in attack.
Yeah, if you're the sports trainer, you'd be taking out the old, what's the sticky stuff tie? The old grippo on the hands of Riccardi. He's dropped a couple.
Hobbs a short ball to Guelphy. Pumps it up the line here for the Bombers on the outer wing. One down here from Perkins into a contest though, and again they pile in from all angles. The umpire says, give it to me.
But you're right, Tyg. Off the back of that sort of clearance work, the Giants are just dominating that front half footy at the moment. I mean, that's why they got the 19-point lead. They're just getting more ball going forward.
Like a 20-point Sato.
Yeah, sorry.
As Cornelio comes inboard now. That's in front of Bedford, wrapped up by McGrath immediately. Brown goes in hard for the Giants as well. Hand pass finds Ward. Fay in the long sleeves. Only his 7th AFL game. 4 of them as the sub so far. Hand pass out across the centre circles. Whitfield 6 out the boot, trying to knock it forward here for the Giants. Perryman goes in hard as well. Tumbles a kick inside 50 on the second. Third bounce, they'll rebound the ball here. It comes back to Nick Hind. Off a step, he can exit defensive 50 with a precise kick to find Perkins, who marks it right half back for the Bombers.
They could do with some slow possession here, Essendon. It's been frantic for them. Giants leading the inside 50s 14-7 and with a 20-point lead in the first term. Perkins' kick goes to half forward. And then Toby Green, coming off the interchange bench, managed to keep it in. That ball was going over the boundary line for all money. But Toby was alert, kept it in by a millimetre, and now he spots up Riccardi inside 50. He's a genius, Toby Green. He does things no one else deems possible.
That's right.
He was in the right place at the right time, but very alert to the situation. Beautiful kick, and Riccardi will kick from outside 50, just better than a 45-degree angle.
The way he picked it up as well, he picked it up between his legs. It was the ground ball itself. But again, another aerial contest that there was nothing from Essendon.
Bombers would have thought a fan was running onto the ground. Riccardi's kick is a beauty. He caps off Toby Green's intuitive play with a lovely major to go with the 4 goals he kicked last week, Jake Riccardi. And the Giants spring out to a 26-point lead in the first term.
And they're just able to get some easy ball through that middle part of the ground, aren't they? Not under a heap of pressure when they're going forward. And I think that's why you find every time the Giants go inside 50, their efficiency is nearly at 50% now for going inside 50 to get a shot on goal. So it's that easy ball, just not enough pressure from the Bombers around the contest. The Giants, when they do win it, it's flick through, out, bit of open space, bit of time to find the target. I mean, Riccardi's got his hands to a couple. It's great to see him hold on to that one.
Maybe a bit of false sense of security. Obviously, the last couple of weeks of footy that they've played, Essendon, they haven't come to the game at all. The speed of the game, the contest walk, they're fighting for their life here.
Really, Richmond beat North Melbourne by 29 points at the MCG. Sorry, Tig. And Carlton by 4 points over the Gold Coast, which is their 13th win. They'll shore up finals footy for them, and they keep 5th spot for now, the Blues. Hot start here for the Giants, 26 points.
You think too, the Bob, like you're fighting for a final spot. It's probably just been a little bit disappointing in terms of their intensity at the contest.
Another clearance here for Callan Ward toward the outer side. Jake Kelly gave a shove. Just gives away the free kick on Toby Green. So Toby Green called a play on from just 4 to halfway. The Giants skipper goes deep to the pocket. Daniels! It was a well-judged kick and mark as well. And Daniels took it just as it crossed the boundary line. He'll have a set shot from deep in the right forward pocket, 40 out.
Yeah, nice leg, wasn't it? Centimetre perfect, we've heard that before. But it's like, again, this ability to run back towards goal with no pressure on him. We have a ping from here. Sada?
Yep.
Kicked the first goal of the game. Hit Brent Daniels. Check side, the set shot from the pocket on its way. I tell you what, it looks pretty good. He loves that. Binga Daniels. Oh, it's a hot Giants side in this first term. They're out by 32 points early, 6 goals to 1, 38 plays 6, 24 gone first term. ABC Sport, this is Grandstand AFL. Well,
the question of whether the Giants' confidence has taken a hit from the past couple of weeks with a with a derby loss when, you know, they're probably expecting to win and then to go to Port and get smashed. Well, yeah, they've put that to bed here early against the Bombers. There's 6 goals now on the scoreboard in the first quarter. They're playing with absolute confidence. It hasn't been difficult for them, but every time they go inside 50 again, they're just having impact. You know, Brent Daniels doesn't take a lot of marks inside 50 and get set shots on goal, but, you know, he had enough space to mark that footy, and geez, what a finish. Yeah, the banana from the boundary. Welcome back, Brent Daniels. 2 goals first quarter after a week off.
They were furious with the way they went about it last week, the Giants against Port. They've come out in order to prove a point, and they have done that. A 6-goal break on Essendon in the first term, and they've won it again. Lockie Ash swoops across half-back and kicks out to half-forward, punched away from Toby Green by Jake Kelly. And the Bombers get something going before the end of the first term. Parrish to Durham, the handball to McGrath, further forward to Caldwell. On the outer wing, takes a bounce. Callan Ward chasing him. On his left, he kicks inside 50. They need a mark badly. Off hands. Perryman gathers it, squeezes a kick out of defensive 50. Ash was able to handball and knocked forward by Josh Kelly to Brent Daniels, who has 2 goals in the first term. The kick further out to half forward, gathered by Bedford. Has plenty of time. Looks for a lead. His kick is off target though. It was aimed for Toby Green. He miscued it, and Jake Kelly marks in defensive 50.
And the speed of the half forwards now is very evident with Daniels, Bedford. You know, they've really putting it up to their Essendon half backs.
From the defensive pocket, Kelly goes beyond defensive 50. Strong grab taken by Andrew Phillips, who's also retiring at the end of the year, the former Giant and Blue. Andrew Phillips, just to slow things down for the moment here for the Bombers. Been outplayed the tune of 32 points in this first term. High ball along the outer wing. Dropped down there by Hobbs. Now a free kick for a high tackle will go the Bombers' way.
Even that contest itself from Hobbs, you know, he's stood under it, but he's ducked his head. You know, he's kind of hasn't gone hard enough for the contest. It's got to be hanging to get into Essendon and just give him a fair piece of his mind.
All well from the outer wing, goes toward 50 now. It's punched away by Buckley in defence for the Giants. A stoppage just outside 50 here for the Bombers at the Olympic Stadium, and which tomorrow night will host the FIFA Women's World Cup final, of course. Giants here by 32 points, 26 gone first term.
100% Todd. Like in the contested game, the Giants just well and truly on top, getting first hands on the footy.
World Cup final tomorrow night. A virtual elimination final on display here, and the Giants having it all their own way in the first quarter. Socket into the left forward pocket for Essendon though. Well done by Himmelberg to keep his feet under pressure. Gets the handball to Josh Fay. He clears the area. Riccardi crashes the pack. And then watch the ball as it came down. Got the handball to Toby Green. Sold some candy. Sent it back to Josh Kelly at halfback with his raking left boot. Kicks it to half forward. Marking strongly is Hogan.
And they're off to the races. Yeah, they're back
has options. Goes inside 50. Kick was a little too hot there for Brown. Second bite, couldn't pull it down. Pressure in defence here from the Bombers. Brown follows up though. Breaks the tackle of Jake Kelly. Still has it Brown. Still going. Hand pass in. Ball out in space in front of Bedford. Bedford can't trap it. He's beaten to the ball this time. Great work it was with Bombers defence. Mopped up there by Jai Menzies. Back here for Nick Hind, and his kick will work out okay. It was to McGrath. Well, rebound again by hand, and now Parrish by foot. Kicks back in the middle of Giants Stadium, where it's marked by Himmelberg.
That's the issue with Parrish. Gets a lot of it, but Bombers fans say he wastes a lot of it. Kicked it straight over Merritt's head there. It was marked by Himmelberg. Goes short to Perryman, who's able to play on. Hit the ground running after marking it from just outside 50. Kicks the Giants long into attack over the head of Hogan and Laverty. And Nick Hind is able to take it. It was Heppel, in the contest with Hoban. Nick Hind takes it over for a rush behind. It is a 33-point lead to the Giants. They are 6-3-39. Essendon, one straight 6, 27 and a half gone in the first.
Nick Hind buys some space in the right back pocket. Kicks out here beyond defensive 50, where it's marked by Hobbs. Off to Redmond by hand. Now from right half back, up the members' side, back with the flight. Perkins takes a clean grab. One of 5 Bombers to play every game this year so far. G. Perkins comes inboard now for Merritt, the skipper. On the logo commentary side, they need the entry and a goal here, badly the Essendon side. Goes toward the top of the 50. Himmelberg knocks it down here for Kelly. The Giants can rebound through Perryman.
And they've got space in the form of Josh Fay in the long sleeves. It'll just allow the football to sit up for him. Now assesses his options, tries to dance around Derham, goes the banana on his left. Wasn't the best option, perhaps didn't have too many options. Nick Hind marks the left half back for Essendon. They need to get something going here before the quarter-time siren sounds. It's a really good kickling for Durham, but Perryman, who started the first quarter well, read it well, and punched it over the boundary line. Out of side, the Giants lead by 33 points as we get close to quarter time.
I reckon he's had 10 spoils, Perryman. He's working extremely hard in his first quarter defensively, but for the Giants, sorry.
Back in it comes on the outer side, taken by Briggs. Clean out of the ruck, snatches it and kicks high towards 50 again. Zerk Thatcher back with the flight, has Hogan for company. It's mopped up though here by Laverty. He can try to clear as well. Hand pass picked off though by Cornelio. Here's a defender. Look at the goals from 40 out. Cornelio runs in, makes no mistake. Goal number 7 of the quarter for the GWS Giants. And the Bombers are on the rack with their season on the line. 7-3-45 the Giants. Essendon 1 straight 6. Half an hour gone first term. Grandstand AFL.
I can't believe that rock contest, you know. It does start. Look, Briggs has had a good year, but Essendon have got 3 ruckmen on that ground. And he hasn't come off yet, Briggs, and he's running around like he's fresh as daisy. He's winning one-on-one contests. So you go back to the contest of work itself as a whole, but it does start with your ruckman itself, and there's been no presence whatsoever from Draper. You know,
he's had 4 clearances, Kieran Briggs, as a ruckman, 4 clearances.
It's shocking, you know, and Phillips. So, you know, you almost want to get 2 metre Peter up around the ball a bit, you know, to give him some bit of a presence. That's been a disappointing thing for Essendon.
Well, it's just another easy goal too.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, semi under pressure, just cough it up, and Cornelio just gets to run into an open goal.
In game 199, Steve Cornelio, big milestone coming up for him. Away to the Blues next week. Let's put the Giants 39 points up. Bombers under siege. And the cross half back again. It's a scrappy kick from McGrath. Didn't have again. Too many players leading for him in open space. Over the boundary line it goes, next to the interchange gates.
It's just here in front of us, Gabby. There's no talk, there's no conversation from this. And the difference between the 2 football teams, the Giants get there, they're getting set up early at the stoppage. There's very little talk from the Essendon players. Now they're actually arguing. You're looking at a half back here.
The unmistakable voice of Ty Cornelio on Grandstand AFL. Back in it comes. Phillips competes with Briggs. Wrapped up there was Tom Green. Got it away though by hand, but it's a clearing kick now from Jai Caldwell. And his kick goes out of bounds for a throw in at right half forward. Deliberate is the call. Good possession back to the Giants at left half back. Himmelberg brings it back in quickly and finds Isaac Cumming.
Well, that sums up the first term for Essendon. It's been really poor considering the stakes. And the Giants are a team that will make you pay. 39 points they lead by. Near the end of the first. The kick to half forward, off hands. Caldwell's there. Was he ridden into the ground by Perryman? Umpire allows play to go on. Tom Green gets it out to Josh Kelly. And they win it again. Here's Cornelio, who kicked the last. Finds space when there wasn't any. And then hits up Jesse Hogan at centre half forward. The Giants might get another one here before the siren goes. Hogan looks for Bedford. Cutting across, though, was Heppel. Taking an important mark deep in defence. And he'll get 50 metres for his trouble as well. Josh Kelly infringed. So Dyson Heppel will march Essendon up to the middle of the ground, and with seconds remaining, a chance for them perhaps to take a kick inside, mark inside 50. Himmelberg punches it away from the contest. Whitfield will clear the danger, and the Giants make an almighty statement in the first term. Essendon wondering what on earth they've produced in the first quarter with so much at stake. The Giants up by 39 points at quarter time here at Giant Stadium.
Couple of goals from Brent Daniels, singles to Cornelio, Green, Bedford, Hogan and Jake Riccardi in that first term. So 7 goals from 6 different goal kickers so far, while for Essendon, Cole Langford has their only major to the first change. And that, by the way, is the Giants' best first quarter since round 11 against the Brisbane Lions last year. That was 8 goals won that day, in the first quarter that day. So good start for them, and that sort of contextualises their best first quarter for a long time, and their best ever opening term against the Bombers ever. The previous best was 6 goals too, back in round 8 of 2021. Shout out to Mitch in the studio for that. It's the Giants by 39 points at the first change at Giant Stadium. This is Grandstand AFL.
What's the best thing in the world that's also on the ABC Listen app? The footy! This season, get your footy live and ad-free on the ABC Listen app. AFL, NRL, men's, women's. Whatever you fix, we've got you covered.
She's got it! Bye-bye! See you later!
Every goal, try, mark and tackle. Called by ABC Sports' expert commentary team.
Set, bingo!
AFL and NRL, live and ad-free. Get it on the ABC Listen app. What's the best thing in the world that's also on the ABC Listen app? The footy! This season, get your footy live and ad-free on the ABC Listen app.
Straight through for a goal.
AFL, NRL, men's, women's. Whatever you fix, we've got you covered.
She's got it. Bye-bye. See you later.
Every goal, try, mark and tackle. Called by ABC Sports' expert commentary team.
Set. Bingo.
AFL and NRL, live and ad-free. Get it on the ABC Listen app.
Grandstand AFL.
Now streaming every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Kicks inside 50. Riccardi comes out to meet it. Couldn't grab it. Daniels on the snap. Roving. It'll bounce through for the first of the game. Brett Daniels back in the team. And with the first of the afternoon, Parrish now finds McGrath. Bombers go deep into attack. And marking is Langford. Their danger man inside 50, found some space. He's 8th in the Coleman race, Kyle Langford. Nobody would have picked that start of the season. For goal number 49 of the campaign, he is such an accurate kick.
The Irishman plays on, goes inside forward 50. Top of the square, Hogan, out-bodying Zerk Thatcher. What a career resurgence it's been for him at his third AFL club. Hogan, slight angle, makes no mistake. Giants have their second. Buckley on the outer wing here for the Giants. Comes inboard now for Toby Green. Loads up from 60. No one's back there in the goal square. All the way for Toby Green. And a captain's goal early on for the GWS Giants. On the bounce, searching through Tom Green. Hand pass to the veteran Ward. Pops it inside 50. Bedford gets back there. Judged it well, takes the mark. Bedford, one of the best small forwards in the competition. On the approach, his kick. Look, don't leave it in enough. Got the desired result. Toby Green called a play on from just forward of halfway. The Giants skipper goes deep to the pocket. Daniels! It was a well-judged kick and mark as well. And Daniels took it just as it crossed the boundary line. Brent Daniels, check side, the set shot from the pocket on its way. I tell you what, it looks pretty good. He loves that. Binga Daniels. Oh, it's a hot Giants side in this first term. Popped up though here by Laverty. He can try to clear as well. Hand pass picked off though by Cornelio. Here's a defender. Look at the goals from 40 out. Cornelio runs in, makes no mistake. Goal number 7 of the quarter for the GWS Giants. And the Bombers are on the rack with their season on the line.
The 2023 AFL season.
On radio,
ABC Sport Digital.
and now streaming on the ABC Listen app.
39 points as the Giants lead at the first change here at Giants Stadium. Earlier at the MCG, Richmond beat North Melbourne by 29 points, and it was Carlton by 4 over Gold Coast at Carrara. That is win number 13 for the Blues and sees them punching their ticket through to confirmed September action. These two sides aren't so fortunate. They have to win today. In fact, their last 2 games of this home and away season, the Giants and the Bombers, and so far an impressive start for the Giants. Your experts are Jason Saddington and Ty Kennelly.
Well, coming into a game where two teams fighting for a elimination final, like you mentioned before the first bounce, Ty, you'd expect a bit more of a harder contest, but gee, the Giants have had it their own way. Essendon just haven't turned up in the competitive stakes through this first quarter. Ultra disappointing in terms of going in and win the footy, playing a style of footy where they're just hoping the oppo is going to turn it over and give it back to them and they can just roll through and get it inside 50. Well, it hasn't happened that way because the Giants are just smashing them at the inside and the outside game, as it turns out. Inside, the clearances, Giants are well on top, 14-10. I mean, Tom Green's had 14 possessions, 8 of them contested, 4 clearances. I mean, it's easy for him in there. Kieran Briggs, the 4 clearances of the ruckman. And Draper's missed some footy, but, he's a big, strong, contested type ruckman that's hard to move. Briggs is a young fella, has been all over him. Contested footy, 46-29. The Giants just dominated inside, and then when they do get outside, they've found it easy as well. They're going inside 50 with ease. They're winning that 21-11, but when they do go in, their efficiency's at 46% because there's no pressure on the ball from Essendon, and they've just got time to be able to find that player and get some easy shots on goal. All Giants, they've played it well, but Essendon just haven't turned up in that competitive aspect.
Yeah, you look at the game and you come to the game as an outsider and you look at it and go, are the Giants this good? Or is it Essendon absolutely deplorable in the contest? I'm looking at the bench, and if I'm Scotty, I'm bringing on Stringer. because and they've probably got a plan going, right, we got to bring him in the last quarter, mate. So be it. You're better off to actually execute it because the game is here now. It's practically over if they don't actually get Stringer into the game. What's the point in bringing him on for the last quarter itself? You've got to look at trying to be creative with your sub here.
39 points is the Giants' lead. Second term underway. Clearance goes the way of the Bombers. Parrish goes down the corridor now. Tries to find the marker right. Knocked away here in space. Mopped up though by Iden. Little 1-2 there with Sam Taylor. Clears defensive, picking out to find Tom Green. And Tom Green marks it right half back for the Giants.
And the fact that's the first time I reckon we've called nearly Sam Taylor suggests, how much the Bombers have been struggling through that first term.
It's the first time he's touched the ball.
Yeah.
That's because his opponent, Peter Wright, hasn't touched the ball because it's barely been down there, as you say. Tom Green with possession number 15. And we've just started the second quarter. And Briggs takes a pack mark. Handball inboard to Josh Kelly. Looking for Keefe on the lead. It looks like a training drill at the moment for the Giants. Durham's under pressure. McGrath has it. Sweeping handball back to Hines. Hines goes short to Hobbs. And it's all one-way traffic. Once more, the Bombers deep in defence, trying to make something happen. McGrath gets it back. Finds on the outer side Nick Martin. He kicks up the wing. Coming out to meet it was Perkins. Met solidly by Perryman. Giants win it back. Ash to Iden. Handball inboard to Whitfield. Over the top to Perryman. Short one to Isaac Cumming. Inboard to Canelio. That is handballing it with ease. Lockie Ash will stroll through on goal from just inside 50. Oh yeah, that's the training drill. But it still needed the finish and Lockie Ash provided it. Champagne footy from GWS. But they are being allowed to do as they please by an insipid Essendon side so far.
Well called, Garby. Well called, man. You've nailed it. Insipid is what the performance is from Essendon. They've just cut through him like a knife and through butter. It's been really disappointing from an Essendon point of view. Not the contest on the wing here was Perryman, and it looked like they had that ball in the contest, but they didn't get a glove on the Giants itself, And super finish, and they're clinical, and they've just continued where they've left off in the first quarter. The Giants.
45 points the lead to GWS.
That is commanding. It's desperate stuff now for the Bombers. They've got the Pies next week. They're playing for their season right now. And they're down by 8 goals.
Well, it's 2 minutes into the second quarter, and so this game's done.
Yep. Back in the middle, Briggs v Draper. Draper out of the right hand pass, stopped here by Ward. Ward back here to Tom Green. Sends them forward of halfway again, the Giants. Inside 50 they go. And it's marked defensively down there by Zerk Thatcher. It's a little limpy as well, as Thatcher just lays off the hand pass and is hobbling in back play as they clear the ball through McGrath.
McGrath with his 12th disposal. That's because the ball's been down back so often.
We'll give it to a couple of the Essendon defenders, though. They have played in front, and they've probably been better than, they've found the front spot on Hogan and Riccardi a couple of times now, so I'll give them a tick.
Good mark by Caldwell at halfback. He now sends it up to the wing. Archie Perkins had front position but couldn't grab it. And a couple of players fall on the football. One of them, Ben Hobbs. The other, Stephen Canelio. Ball up just outside the centre square out of side.
Sorry, Gaby. They've just been so flat. I mean, you're just looking at them now again. There's no physicality at the opponent at all. All the pressure and the tackling pressure. There's no tackling pressure on the opposition team. Here you go.
Nick Martin spins into a tackle there from Cumming, and advantage paid here for the Giants. So forward of halfway they go. Hogan marked 65 from goal. Dummies the hand pass. Still says of the options here, Jesse Hogan. Is he going back here? No, he's going to set it high and long, the hot spot here for the Giants. Deep in attack, and it's floating across there, the spare man to take the intercept mark. And no further advance there. It's been marked by Nick Cox.
Should have went a bit earlier when it was the genuine 1v1. Allowed the defender by holding it up a couple of seconds, allows the defender to come back with that entry deep.
Cox goes short to Zerk Thatcher, who leads the Bombers for intercept possessions. He's been one of their best this season. Goes up to the wing, but again, in front position is Kieran Briggs. He's giving Sam Draper a bath in the early stages here. Sam Draper's first game since round 13, and perhaps that is showing up against one of the informed rucks in the competition. Briggs marks and then kicks the Giants into attack again off the hands of Redmond. Boundary throw in left forward pocket for the Giants, who are 8-3-51 Essendon 1 straight 6 in a virtual elimination final 4 minutes into the second quarter.
And if you're the Giants, you'll take a stoppage inside 50. You're going to mark it, at least create a stoppage. You know you're going to get the upper hand at the moment with the stoppage in there.
Back in it comes. Briggs down to Cornelio. Clean tap. Cornelio shrugs the tackle of Caldwell. Fires a hand pass to Daniels. He's dispossessed. McGrath mops up here for the Bombers. Shares it with Parrish. And they're away here from right half back. Up the outer side they go. Right in the contest with Buckley. At the drop, Perryman. Beaten to it this time though. Nice work it was by Sam Durham. Ball still alive here though for the Giants. And numbers in defence. Whitfield now back to Ward from the bullseye. Goes to half forward. Finds the chest of Jesse Hogan, who's 55 out on the lead. Lays it off by Henny to Josh Kelly. He's 55 from goal. The left footer goes into the pocket now. Second, third bite. Bedford claims the mark deep in the right forward pocket.
Another easy inside 50. Although, I mean, you know, that tsunami off half back when they're winning the ball, it's just been way too easy. Handball receives and run through. Hogan, nice easy lead up. And then when Josh Kelly had a ton of space out wide to just get that handball receive, and I mean, he almost mucked it up with the kick. It was almost a little bit too much for Bedford, but he took a good mark. Just another easy inside 50.
Adam Kingsley is the best pressure forward in the competition. Toby Bedford, the former Demon, he misses near side here. Minor score, 8-4-52 the Giants. Essendon 1 straight 6 going second term Grandstand AFL.
A nice strong contest to that forward from Sam Durham, but the answer was no one there with him. Come with him and join in. They just rebounded way too easy.
McGrath brings it back in, but kicks it over the head of Nick Cox. He was able to recover really well though, Nick Cox, but Bedford gathers. Just in front of the wing for the Giants, gives it to Cornelio, who kicks it over his head, high up and under. Callan Ward came from 15 metres away and took the mark. I don't know if the ball went 15 metres, but the umpire paid it for the courage of Ward anyway. Kick inside 50 of the hands of Riccardi. Zirk Thatcher's back there. Little handball to Nick Hine, pops on over the top. And is marked by Durham in the back pocket by Callan Ward, is setting the standard here. The inaugural best and fairest winner for the Giants in the early stages.
Durham here for Essendon, kicks beyond defensive 50. Out there were 2-on-2, floating across. Connor Iden neutralises that to make it a throw-in on the other side. You start talking too, not to get too carried away, you start thinking that percentage boost as well. Yeah. 46 points up. I mean,
going to play a part potentially.
Might just be a matter of premiership points. It doesn't always factor in these final couple of rounds, but you'd love to have a big win like this. The Giants put on this 46-point lead. Essendon first pair of hands of the football. McGrath off to the run of Hine. He bursts off half back. He's run down here by Brent Daniels. Umpire says play on. Hine gets a kick away eventually to Redmond, who controls it now in the middle of Giants Stadium. Short kick down the pipe to find the chest here of Archie Perkins. Wheels and goes now inside 50. Options are plenty in the red sash, but floating across. Lockie Keefe intercepts the mark here for the Giants and comes beyond defensive 50.
And they have space. Riccardi's got it on the outer side. Brent Daniels had 15 metres on his own. He just waltzes forward, looks for an option in attack. Not the best kick, bounces in front of Daniel Lloyd. And we'll have a boundary throw in after a bounce out on the outer side left forward pocket for the Giants. They lead by 46 points. We've gone 7.5 in the second term. Let's go down to Declan Byrne on the boundary.
Matt Guelphy for the Bombers getting a lot of attention on his right knee. He's doing some run-throughs. Doesn't look great, so keep an eye on that.
Yeah, get him off, get Stringer on. You got to try something, isn't it?
Deliver the package. The sub today for the Bombers on his return. Missing a few weeks with that foot injury. And that was the late call from Brad Scott. Jake Stringer the sub and Jai Caldwell in. Up it goes, the stoppage just beyond 50 here for the Giants. Merritt the skipper. Hand pass out wide to Hobbs. Parrish rides the boundary, receives the hand pass and tumbles it back up the line now. It missed Himmelberg. Mopped up though in defence by Connor Iden. Back to Lockie Ash. Recent contract extension for the Giants. He was a sought-after player as Cornelio marks in the middle of Giants Stadium. Looks at the options. Few steps and a kick inside 50. It's a low ball to find the chest of Hogan again. Slides in. His set shot will come from 40 out directly in front. The Giants can do no wrong.
Well, Cornelio being able to get that ball and do a 180 turn and the pressure just dropped off him. It just dropped off him. He actually gained meterage in space when he shouldn't have, which allows him to hit up Jesse Hogan inside 50. I know we're banging on about it, but there's just no change.
Jesse Hogan lining up here for his second goal of the afternoon. Off a few steps. It's on its way. It's got the carry. It hits the post. About halfway up. And it's a minor score here for the Giants. 8-5-53. Essendon 1 straight 6. 9.5 played second term. Grandstand AFL via ABC Sport.
And that gap of contested possession just keeps growing in terms of the Giants' favour. It's now plus 21. Inside 50s, 30-13. It's, the game stats are just blowing even further out. There's been no change since quarter time whatsoever in terms of the way Essendon are approaching this game.
Even getting some personnel around the ball, get another forward up if you have to, or even make it an even contest itself. Try and change things up. If you're trying to back the players in at quarter time, saying, right, they haven't had a great first quarter, but the first 10 minutes of the second quarter hasn't changed. So you've got to try and pull some manoeuvres yourself as a coach here.
Off the boundary throw in. Giants win it. Green to Kelly. Turned over though.
Oh, that's poor.
And now the Bombers have given it back. Daniels to Kelly to Green. Josh Fay's running off him. He's just outside 50 on his left. Perhaps just got a little bit excited, the youngster, when he saw the goals opening up, and Laverty was able to cut across and take the defensive mark.
They wouldn't do that at the academy coaches.
Stringer doing some leg swings down there, Tig.
Laverty's kick off the hands of Phillips, gathered by Tom Green. He's almost hit 20 disposals. Brown looking for Daniels, and Daniels looking for his third goal. It's coming around. It is through. Brent Daniels back in the team with 3 majors to his name. 10.5 minutes gone in the second term, and GWS lead by 53 points.
Just Brent Daniels, time and space again. I mean, it's a great finish from out near the boundary, but he's not under pressure, is he? He's just some easy handball up here from the wing. The Giants get another easy inside 50. Not enough pressure on the ball, and they're kicking another goal. I mean, the Giants are doing everything possibly right. It's been gifted to them. It's an easy game of footy for the moment. They're punishing them, they're hurting them, which is what you got to do. But just easy footy for them at the moment.
They're looking so sharp. On the flip side, the Giants, they are looking extremely sharp. Now, the handball itself in Hobbs here was bottom right. You're talking underage football, missing that handball itself. But the Giants have been clinical with everything.
Declan Byrne downstairs.
Sub has been made for Essendon. Jake Stringer warming up, out to get into the game.
There you go,
Ty. Is that because of an injury, or they've just made the sub? Yep.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Declan. As the almost win the clearance this time, have been few and far between for the visitors. Perkins, got a bump there from Cornelio. Still alive now for Cornelio. Taken now by Heppel, and Fay sees it out of bounds for a throw-in. 53 points is the Giants' lead.
And you just want Stringer to come in, go in around the ball and smash and crash and hit some bodies and then come off. Like, you're talking 5 minutes spell, get in, crash some bodies, create a bit of chaos, a bit of havoc. Don't go forward and try to win the game because the ball's not getting there.
So Guelphy subbed out, Stringer in for the Bombers. Hobbs slips the tackle, just gets a hand pass away as he was pressured by Kelly. And now Perryman's handball goes out of bounds for a throw-in, members side of Giants Stadium. 9-5 plays one straight. Earlier, Carlton beat Gold Coast by 4 points at Carrara, while Richmond beat North Melbourne by 29 points at the MCG.
Tom Green, 19 disposals already, 10 of those contested. 4 clearances, 4 inside 50s, 5 score involvements. Ashes 5 score involvements as well. Those numbers pretty high for the Giants, as you can imagine, because they are dominating this football game. But the Bronx cheer goes up. Phillips has won a free kick here on the wing in the ruck contest against Brigg. The former Giant kicks Essendon to half forward. Himmelberg wins his way to the front. It's off hands. Fay's there for the Giants, and we'll have a boundary throw in just outside attacking 50 for Essendon, who are still 1 straight 6. They kicked the second goal of the game through Kyle Langford. The Giants have kicked the last 8.
Already it's their highest first half score this season. We've still got most of this second term to go.
This is a sign as well. You can't get Stringer on the ground here.
He's still waiting on the interchange gates.
It's a poor sign of the team as a whole.
Emilio to Perryman, and they clear across half back here. The Giants out in space. Isaac Cumming marks in plenty of space. On the other side now, on that southeastern wing, Connor Iden gets back, judges it well. 1 of 4 Giants play every game this year so far. Himmelberg gets back in space and marks it left half forward. He's 65 out now, Himmelberg. Knows both ends of the ground pretty well. Goes deep to the pocket now and floating across. Heppel intercepts for the Bombers. And it remains a 53-point break the way of the Giants.
Dyson Heppel has to kick long to a contest. Right half back, and that's just too easy. Himmelberg just nudged his opponent out. That allowed Connor Iden to float across and take the mark. Just outside attacking 50 for GWS. I'll put the Bombers under severe pressure yet again. Working his way to the front is Hogan, and marking on his chest. He just waltzed in front of 4 or 5 players, left his opponent well behind, marked on his chest, and Jesse Hogan can convert his second from 25 out slide angle.
I love looking at the Essendon defenders here. You know, they've handled it. The ball's been in. To be fair, they have been okay in the last couple of minutes. The ball coming in, but they're just all looking at it. Where did he come from? It's just appeared all of a sudden.
He's sixth in the AFL for marks inside 50 per game, Jesse Hogan. Taken another one and converted another one. He has 2. GWS have 10. They are 10-5-65. Essendon, 1 straight 6. 59 points the margin. 15 minutes gone in the second quarter.
It was actually quite smart from Jesse Hogan. He's just run around the other side of a one-on-one, 2 players wrestling. He's ducked around the other side. Zerk Thatcher's tried to follow him around and just copped a little check off the other 2 players competing for the marking contest, which allowed Hogan to just run in front and take that uncontested mark on his chest.
And see Stringer nose on and straight into the middle. So let's get some physicality around the ball from an Essendon point of view and show some pride in your jumper, and you're playing for your season here.
59 points. The game's done.
Yeah,
it's done, and we're at the 15-minute mark of the second term. What an unbelievable first half from GWS. Briggs v Draper. One down here. Hobbs with the clearance. Just thumps it high inside 50 now for the Bombers. Buckley gets across in front of Wright. Spoils out in space. Himmelberg runs onto it now. Clears beyond defensive 50 to a nice pass by foot to Josh Fate. That right half back. The young Canberran. Called to play on now. And his bright orange sleeves. Picks up the commentary side. Draper parks himself under it and takes the mark here for Essendon.
See, the Bombers have been poor, but the Giants have exploited them.
Oh, they have. And their half-backs are getting well. Like Ash and Himmelberg and even Iden, they're getting some easy ball. They're cashing in.
Draper's kick to half forward. Big leap by Durham. And the umpire says that wasn't a realistic attempt at marking the football. So Kieran Briggs has the free kick at centre-half back. This has been coming for Essendon since round 14. They've won only 12 quarters. Only the terrible West Coast Eagles and North Melbourne have won less. So it's been on the cards, but not to this extent. 10 goals they trail by, 16 and a half minutes gone in the second quarter. Connor Iden has it for the Giants. At right half back. Guides it up the wing. Briggs and Draper off hands. Draper gathers. Strong tackle on him by Daniel Lloyd. He's retiring, but he says, I want to go out with a bang. And he made a statement there with a big tackle on the big man. Ball up half forward for GWS.
Up it goes. Briggs and Draper wrestle. Harris tries to gather. Briggs follows up, does so now. Kicks and it bounced off Sardis. They go in from all angles again. Hobbs brought down by opposite number in Ward. The umpire will ball it up.
It's probably the first little passage of play. We've had a couple of ball ups in a row. It's normally bang, one stoppage out. Someone flying through and hitting inside 50.
Giants by 59. Midway in this second term. As Durham clears for the Bombers off half-back. Out to a one-on-one. Perryman did well in the contest with Stringer, the sub now on the ground. Wright, wrapped up again by Perryman. Peter Wright wins it off here towards Parrish. Overrun though by Parrish, and the Giants on the overlap again. Faye's hand pass, not controlled there by Cornelio. Wright follows up now for Essendon. It comes to Parrish out wide on that left boot, puts them inside 50. Leading up Phillips, wouldn't bring it down here. Ricochets out towards Nick Martin. He's 45 from goal. It just trickles out toward the pocket now, overrun by Sam Taylor. Perryman again puts a pressure act down there on Menzies. It comes out wide now to Josh Kelly for the Giants. Hand pass to Perryman. They can clear from right half back.
Perryman has Lloyd breaking free of McGrath. Did it easily. Marks on the wing, and he gets a cheer because he announced during the week this season would be his last. The club says it was his call, making it for his family. 97th game today. The Giants say they want to get him to 100. Well, they've got to win one final for that to be the case. Whitfield gathers it, switches it to the outer side, left half forward. Heppel puts a nice tackle on Isaac Cumming. Cox is under pressure and turns it over. Marked on the wing by Connor Iden.
Comes back in board now for Himmelberg. The outer logo. Margin still 59 the Giants' way. We saw a recent contract extender at the Giants. A key part of their puzzle going forward. Short kick to Whitfield. Slowing things down here, the home side. Whitfield, recent 200 gamer, goes high inside 50. Copying a shove down there is Jesse Hogan. So going to take a set shot deep in the left forward pocket. 40 out.
a bit too aggressive from Laverde. It was more of a shoulder on the back than anything else. And I don't even think he got his hands on the ball, but certainly free kick for mine.
Body language for the Bombers has dropped. You can see it, can't you, in the way they're conducting themselves?
But it should be going the other way, shouldn't it? I mean, if you've had a really poor first quarter, normally your body language in the second should be, compete.
Hogan lining up for his third. Connects from 40 in the left forward pocket. Sets it on its way and makes no mistake. It's party time here for the Orange Tsunami. We're yet to hit time one in the second term, and the Giants are out by 65 points on the Bombers. 11-5-71. Essendon 1 straight 6. Declan Byrne on the boundary.
Giants defender Jack Buckley getting a bit of tension on his left Achilles. Doesn't look too good. He's off. He's taking the boot off now. We'll keep a watch.
They have been clinical with their set shots today also, the Giants, to be fair, but you're right, Spriggy, the body language piece is something as a footballer you can control. We often talk about that to young footballers, about your ability to actually control what you do with your effort and your energy and your intensity piece. It's just been non-existent, and you have to try and shift it with your own body language in the way you're approaching your contest step by step. You're not going to win the game, but at least you actually get some pride in how you're going to go about it with your body language. It comes from your leaders.
Hogan with 3, Daniels with 3, GWS by, yeah, you heard it right, 65. We haven't hit half time yet. The Bombers with just 1 goal to their name. And it's another Giants free kick.
They've hunted them, haven't they, too, also the Giants, to be fair. They've turned over a lot of ball in between the arcs.
They're ruthless at the moment. Whitfield has it, back end of the square. Short to Callan Ward. It's a cruise for GWS at the moment. They are enjoying themselves. He's kicked to centre-half forward, Callan Ward. Maybe a little bit ambitious, looking for Riccardi. Perkins has marked. Talented Bombers youngster. Dangerous around goal. He's marked a long way from them, though. Has Nick Martin on a lead. Daniels read it well. Martin attacked the football. He was paid the mark in the middle of the ground by the umpire. Maybe that's a little bit fortuitous. A bit of sympathy from the umpire, perhaps. Not sure he held it for long enough, but Nick Martin has it middle of the ground.
It was good last week against the Kangaroos. The Bomber quiet this week so far. Not many standing out at the moment. Sardis, kick-off here. It comes to Hind, and Hind goes inside 50 for Heppel. Plays on from the pocket, 40 out. Swings it back to the hot spot now. Leaping up. Can't quite pull it down, did Perkins. Iden rebounds the football here. Short hand pass to Whitfield. His kick precise to Daniel Lloyd. Another round of applause for him as he comes back. It's a dicey kick marked by Nick Cox. He intercepts it centre-half forward here for the Bombers. Well, a chance at goal here for the visitors, a rare one at that. He plays on, goes to the pocket, finds the man unmarked in Perkins. Whitfield provides some pressure, a little bit too much, says the umpire. Pays the advantage and coming in to thump it through his Jai Menzie. The Bombers at last have their second. 2 straight 12 Essendon. They trail the Giants are 11-5-71. 22 and a half gone second term here on Grandstand AFL.
I know Whitfield's given the free kick away, but what's that tell you as a football team? Like, the 60 points up and he's going, well, I'm going all in for this ball, and could have got absolutely creamed. And he went as hard as he can with the ball running back towards goal, and it tells you an awful lot of the difference between the two teams as far as intent and energy to play the game.
And the goal the Bombers got, it's essentially the way they've played. It's like waiting for the oppo to gift them one in a way. And the goal has come off Daniel Lloyd, just probably a poor kick going inside. Top of the 50, Essendon intercept. It's the only way they've got that goal. Some breaking MRO news. Magpie Bo McCreary offered one match for his dangerous tackle on Darcy Wilmot last night. That concerns Essendon's next opponent, Collingwood, next week, for what it's worth.
Right, never team Collingwood. Keep losing them.
Pies with plenty out. And the way the Bombers are going, they need all the help they can get ahead of next week. Might not matter, though, in terms of their finals hopes. Giants win it again. Tom Green, Lockie Whitfield, kick inside 50. McGrath picks it up. Snaps it away from a dangerous spot. Bounce, though, favours the Giants. Gathered by Josh Kelly. Handball down to Josh Fay. Looks for Hogan on a lead. Zirk Thatcher punches that one away from him. Ball in dispute. Inside attacking 50 for the Giants. Everyone's scrapping away from it. A toe poke away from the contest. Gathered by Toby Green. Laverde touches it down to Nick Hines. Gets around to tackle. Back to Zirk Thatcher. He switches it shrewdly. And Heppel is marked in the left back pocket.
Off a step, short kick to find Stringer. Left half back, draws the player, hand pass up the top here towards Merritt. And he hugs the line here with a kick to find Jai Menzie, one of their 2 goal scorers so far for the Bombers. Plays on quickly now, Giant Menzies. Loads up inside 50. Langford from behind down there on Iden. Kicks over the back here. There's Connor Iden. Keeps it alive. And he kick. And it's swung across the half-back line for the Giants. It's marked by Tom Green. It was intercepted, in fact. The Bombers kick chopped off by Tom Green. At full-back here for the Giants, who lead by 59 points.
Tom Green's 21st disposal. He's having a mammoth game so far. His kick finds Daniel Lloyd. Right half-back. He goes short to Lockie Whitfield. Giants happy to just chip this around. Guess who's got it again? Green. Handball inboard to Whitfield, who runs off him. Kicks it to centre half forward. Hogan to Ash. Giants doing this easily again. And Lockie Ash has spotted up Toby Bedford. Left half forward, inside 50. He'll kick from slightly worse than a 45-degree angle.
It's way too easy. I mean, Lockie Ash, Whitfield as well, to just be able to give it off, get it back, give it off, get it back, and just run it inside 50 uncontested once again.
Toby Bedford's got a Michael Holding into Courtney Walsh style run up here. He's almost gone back to the wing, and he's marked it only 40 out from goal. It's one of the longer ones. This is Ben Brown times 2. Looking for his second goal of the game, Toby Bedford. The long run-up worked. It allowed him to settle and kick true for GWS' 12th goal of the game. 12-5-77. They are destroying the Bombers, who are 2 straight 12 by 65 points. 26 minutes gone in the second quarter.
It's not a bad return from the two players coming back into the team. We did talk that they're vitally important, normally in terms of their pressure up forward and their speed getting the ball inside 50. But, you know, Daniel's kick 3 and now Bedford's kick 2. The 2 big ins for the week as the small forwards. They're really cashing in.
It's good reward for you because they've done it all year from the pressure, and then, you know, often in games of football they haven't got the lick of the ice cream with those small high half forwards where they're putting the pressure on. They don't get the lick of the ice cream when the scoreboard's concerned. But you start a game like this and they get 5 goals, 2 big ins from the Giants. But way too easy from an Essendon perspective. Straight down the middle of the ground. An uncontested mark inside 50 now. They must have 20 with it.
It's the Giants' 6th highest first half score ever. Still with a bit to go in this second term. Briggs clears from the ruck, finds Toby Green, who slides it and marks. It was a quick entry, and Toby Green all over it. Takes the mark low to his right. His set shot 35 out, slightly left of centre.
It's going to be a 200-point game.
This is just unbelievable for Adam Kingsley's men. Chasing their 12th win. Of course, they got Carlton in the very last game of the season next week to confirm their finals place. But this will be very pleasing for the Giants' small but passionate fan base to see. Toby Green. A couple of goals last week. Lining up here for his second of the evening here. Connects from 40. Their set shot has been terrific so far tonight, and that is no different from their skipper. He's got 2. The Giants are 13-5-83. Essendon 2 straight 12. 27 goal in second term. Grandstand AFL from the showground.
They're just an easy centre bounce clearance from the big ruckman. Briggs again, you know, and just sharp on their toes as a key forward, as a small medium forward when you were called Toby. But you know, you saw him last week actually starting a lot of centre bounces. He only kicked the 2 goals only, but very dangerous, obviously, as we know. Opponent can play tall or small, but too easy from Briggs as the ruckman getting the clearance. And he said his forward clearance now as a ruckman for the game.
Inside 50s, 40-18 in favour of the Giants, and the record books are coming out because this might well be GWS' highest half-time score, to be around the mark. 13-5-83 they are. They lead by 71 points.
No.
And they've won it again through Briggs. Didn't get great purchase on the kick in the middle of the ground. Parrish couldn't gather it though. Daniels, who already has 3 goals. He gets hands on the football, but they turn it over. The Giants, Hines kick. Finds Cox on the wing. Essendon skipper Merritt now has it and guides it to Archie Perkins. He marks and can go. Drives it a goal from just inside 50. It bounces narrowly wide of the big sticks and through for a behind. The first Essendon behind of the game. They are 2-1-13. GWS 13-5-83.
Oh, dicey kick out here from Himmelberg. It bounces here away from Connor Iden, and it's going to be a throw-in inside the 50 here for the Bombers. Declan Byrne on the boundary.
I've just checked. The Giants have already gained 4 percentage points. So it makes Saints Geelong really juicy tonight as well.
Yeah, if it wasn't already. Adelaide, Sydney as well. 2 massive games to come at Docklands and Adelaide Oval respectively. Back in it comes Diane Cledge's first half here as Lockie Ash clears toward the middle where it's marked by Maguire of the Bombers. Keeps it moving inside forward 50, sliding out to mark, and obviously it is paid down there for Langford. So he's 52 out, and he'll kick here after the half-time siren for his 50th goal of the year. Cole Langford. It's all in consolation, really, for the Bombers, who trail by 70 points at this stage, but we'll see what Cole Langford can do. 3 against the Kangaroos last week. As Garby mentioned, he kicked their first goal of the afternoon here.
His only disposal.
To be the 6th player to reach the half-century in this 2023 AFL season. He'll kick from 55. He does go the barrel, and it's very wobbly, and it goes out of bounds on the full. And no change to our score of Greater Western Sydney 13-5-83, Essendon 2-1-13. Margin a clean 70 here at the major break at Giant Stadium. Goal kickers in the game so far, 3 each for Jesse Hogan and Brent Daniels, a couple for Toby Green and Toby Bedford, singles to Cornelio, Ash and Riccardi. I think that's all of them, while for Essendon, just the 2 goals so far in either quarter of football, Cole Langford and then Jai Menti, their most recent goal kicker. So 70 points is that margin. Your experts are Jason Saddington and Ty Cornelio on Grandstand AFL.
It was just a real continuation of the first quarter there. I mean, we've spoken a lot through probably the first half. Essendon very disappointing in terms of the contested stuff and their ability to compete through the first half. We talked about it at quarter time. They got smoked in around the footy and it continued through the second, so nothing changed too much. Probably to talk more the positive then rather than be negative, but the Giants have been fantastic. I mean, you know, their ability to continually win the footy around the contest and then get on the move. You know, their tsunami's been well and truly on today. You know, the run off half back, you see Lockie Ash has had a lot of impact. Perryman and Himmelberg are cashing in as well, and Whitfield, and they're just able to play with confidence, you know, win the footy and go. And they're getting that easy contested footy. They can chain through with a handball, they can hit the little kick, and they're getting nice easy ball, uncontested, to be able to come inside 50. And, you know, Jesse Hogan's been brewing up forward. He's had the 11 touches, but 8 marks and 3 goals. Daniels kicked 3 goals. Bedford 2 goals. You know, it's been great work from the Giants. It's been easy for them, but they've made it that way as well.
You come into the game from an Essendon point of view, and so the Giants have won 7 in a row, and they've lost 2, so it's starting to get a bit wobbly. So if you start well at all against them and put some pressure and put some doubt into the back of their minds in that first 15-20 minutes of the game, you know, anything could happen. But the way it transpired, it was just a shocking first quarter of football with no intent and no effort and certainly no contest in the game. So, and then the Giants have responded extremely well. They asked the question before the game, how are they going to handle it, because they've wobbled a small bit with the 2 weeks. Well, what a response. They've been clinical. This is the best I've seen them play this year for sure. They're just, now, is it the lack of defensive pressure from Essendon, or is the fact that the Giants have been so clinical by foot certainly cutting up Essendon, and speed coming through the corridor itself? But I don't think anyone would have seen this coming.
No, and you can see both teams want to play. Probably come in going, let's have a real crack. Let's be offensive. You know, let's take the game on. Let's be bold with our ball movement. But the difference is the Giants have got the defensive part right as well. They said, well, first, we've still got to defend first. We've still got to be a bit more aggressive. We've been off that the last couple of weeks. So to get the ball to be able to take it on and go through the mirror, we've actually got to win the footy first. And they've done that. Whereas Essendon, they've been probably waiting for the Giants to turn it over for them to generate some of their ball.
Well, give me a ruckman that's going to try and win it.
Yeah.
It starts with Draper, and it starts with, I know he's been out for a while, but Phillips, there's been no contest whatsoever there. And what's it, Briggs ended up with 5 clearances for the half of football. That's embarrassing stuff, and you've got to nail them, hit them between the eyes at half time and say, look, we haven't come to play, boys. And it starts with our 2 big fellas in the middle of the ground, and you start jumping on the back of ruckman. People think ruckman, I think they're underrated. I certainly think they're underrated, because their ability to actually give you some contest, which allows you to play front half football. If it's not there, it's hard for your midfielders, because you just become, unpredictable with the opposition.
It's odd to say this about a team still in the finals race, but the microscope will go on Essendon in a big way after this. So they almost lost to the Eagles, probably should have lost that game, and we know how bad West Coast have been. Could have easily lost to North Melbourne. We know how terrible they've been. this has been coming, as I said before. To be down by 70 points when you're playing for a final spot at half-time against a team level with you on points on the ladder, there is something wrong with them at the moment. Maybe they've just run out of steam. I'm not sure. The signs have been pretty good for a large part of the season under Brad Scott. But this has been a woeful end to the season for them.
It's hard to swallow now at half-time at 70 points. One, from a coaching perspective, you're trying to pull triggers everywhere. They're trying to do change personnel. And we said it during the game, halfway through the second quarter. You have to respond some bit from your pride of who you are as a footballer and how you actually go about it. You know, just having contest itself. But you're right, Garby. The microscope has to go on. I mean, this could be a 150-point loss.
It's also the way the Giants have scored their goals as well. I know the game's pretty well done now, but even in the first term, the way they were setting up in those chains and scoring, as you say, it was like a training one at times in that first and second term.
It's been the biggest shift from them this year, from obviously last year with Leon, is their ability, aggressiveness to actually take the game on. It's like the way the Giants started, you know, when they're playing the Premiership, when they're playing the grand final year, when they were there and they're actually taking the game on, coming through the middle. Seeing Whitfield goes back behind the ball, so Cornelio and Kelly getting back to the best where they play around the ball, and that's been the big shift to them from a football club, and then setting the ground up defensively in a forward handball like Richmond has played, but obviously Adam spent a lot of time as a coach.
It's the best I've seen them, the Giants. I'll say that. In 5 years covering them, it's the best I've seen them. Albeit, Garby, your point is how much do you discredit Essendon as well, and in terms of what they've dished up in recent weeks and their form line overall. The Giants have looked slick tonight. Yeah,
and their star players are standing up. Tom Green's been unbelievable. 22 disposals to half-time, 11 contested possessions, 6 score involvements. Cornelio's having a wonderful campaign, 16 disposals for him, 5 score involvements. He's in the top few in the competition in that stat. He's kicked a goal as well. Lockie Ash, dynamic off half-back with 14 touches and a goal. Callan Ward has been really good over the last 5 weeks or so. 16 touches for him to half-time, 5 inside 50s, 4 score involvements. For the Bombers, it's the half-backs who are leading the possession numbers because the ball's been down there so often. McGrath has 18, Hind has 17. Peter Wright, just 4 handballs, hasn't managed to score so far. Sam Taylor's barely touched it because it's barely been down there. And as you can imagine, it is the Giants midfielders who are leading the way on the possession count.
Do we have a record for inside 50 through a game? Because Giants are at 40 at half-time. Yeah. That's pretty high.
We'll work on that. Giants by 70 points at the half here, 13-5, 83.
What do you mean, Spriggy?
2-1. I'll find out.
You don't have it top of your head?
Give me a sec. 2-1-13. Earlier, Richmond beat North Melbourne by 29 points at the MCG, and Carlton punched their ticket through to the finals, surviving a scare against the Gold Coast Suns. They're down by 5 goals at one stage and won by 4 points in the end at Carrara for win number 13, and they are in 5th spot for now. But things hiding up later on. St Kilda Geelong at Docklands, Adelaide v Sydney. Hello, depending on where you are, you'll hear either of those games on Grandstand AFL, either on local radio or on ABC Sport Digital or via the ABC Listen app with the ABC AFL or AFL Extra button. We'll preview those fixtures coming up a little bit later on. There's also the Matildas in their 3rd place playoff in Brisbane against Sweden. Of course, the final is the neighbouring stadium next door with England-Spain tomorrow. But Sweden v Australia at Lang Park getting underway in just a matter of moments. You can hear that, of course, via the ABC Listener World Cup button is still functional there. Look for the green and gold, the soccer ball, and you'll have uninterrupted coverage of that starting in just a few minutes' time. Half-time here at Giant Stadium. The home side here by 70 points right now. Time for ABC News.
Hello, this is ABC News with David Rowlands. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says an injection of funding into women's sport is needed because he's expecting to see an explosion in participation. In the wake of the Matildas World Cup success, the federal government has announced $200 million worth of grants to improve sporting facilities and equipment, specifically for women and girls. The government is also reviewing broadcast rules to ensure that major events are free to watch. Mr Albanese says the World Cup has permanently changed Australia's sporting landscape.
This is about making sure the next generation of Sam Kerrs and Mackenzie Arnolds get the not just applause as Mackenzie and Sam have, but they get the infrastructure and facilities that they need.
Victorian Premier Daniel Andrews says a $380 million compensation payment for withdrawing from hosting the 2026 Commonwealth Games was the best outcome the state could get. Scylla Gordon has the details.
The government says it reached the agreement last night. The Premier's shock withdrawal announcement came last month, saying skyrocketing costs meant hosting the Games could come with a $6 billion price tag. Questioned about contingencies around cost, Mr Andrews defended efforts to determine the price for the Games.
Absolutely, they did their very best to estimate the costs of these games, but they are estimates.
Documents released as part of the settlement show the athletes' village could have cost an extra $1 billion than first planned. The state's upper house is holding an inquiry into the dumping of the Games.
Whale watchers are being urged to give a mother and calf space as the pair make their way down the New South Wales coast. The southern right whales are an endangered species and they rely on the safety of shallow waters to nurse as they travel south towards the Antarctic. The state's National Parks and Wildlife Service says all watercraft, including surfers and jet skis, must stay at least 300 metres away. Drones are strictly prohibited within 100 metres of the whales. Tasmania's Health Union has claimed a patient was left ramped with paramedics in an ambulance at the Royal Hobart Hospital for 19 hours yesterday. HACSU Assistant Secretary Lucas Digney says at one stage there was more than 90 patients waiting in the hospital's emergency department, with paramedics facing hundreds of call-outs across the state. Mr Digney says ramping is a situation that's all too common and that more resources are needed to help ambulance services keep up with the significant workloads they're facing.
It's becoming more and more common for people to be ramped for unacceptable amounts of time. But on any measure, I think 19 hours is totally unacceptable.
The Health Department has been contacted for comment. Hundreds of people remain unaccounted for in the US state of Hawaii in the wake of America's deadliest wildfires in more than a century. The death toll on Maui currently stands at 111. President Joe Biden has authorised additional disaster relief and the Pentagon is sending in teams to help with the recovery effort, including forensic anthropologists to help find victims. Taiwan says China should stop using force and intimidation and commence dialogue with it. The government in Taipei says the Taiwanese people are determined to defend themselves and will never succumb to threats of force. It comes after China launched air and sea military exercises near the island. Beijing claims Taiwan as its own territory, which Taiwan refutes. To sport again, and the Matildas will run out for one last time at this year's FIFA Women's World Cup, taking on Sweden for third place in Brisbane. Fraser Fyfe has more.
The Matildas haven't had much time to rebound from their heartbreaking 3-1 loss to England on Wednesday, needing to regroup ahead of tonight's clash with the world number 3. The Matildas will be without defender Alana Kennedy for tonight's game, after it was revealed she's suffering from delayed concussion symptoms from Australia's win over France. Sweden doesn't have any major fitness concerns, but coaches Tony Gustafsson and Peter Gerhardsson will have to consider the heavy workload on players this late into the tournament. Regardless of tonight's result, the Matildas have already achieved their best ever result at a Women's World Cup.
In round 23 of the AFL, Richmond has farewelled triple premiership teammates Jack Riewoldt and Trent Cotchin with a 29-point win over North Melbourne at the MCG. It was also Jack Zeebel's final match after 280 games for the Kangaroos. Shea Bolton kicked 4 goals in the win, but the Tigers will still miss the finals. Carlton has confirmed its finals berth in the playoffs, the first time since 2013, after coming from behind to beat the Gold Coast Suns by 4 points.
Hello, I'm Patrick Stack, and if you like great stories and you enjoy sport, then I reckon you need ABC Sport Daily in your life.
She looked so happy and so excited to be out there and to be having that first World Cup moment and minutes at this home tournament.
It certainly would have been surprising for most gymnasts.
The scene of the crime is Las Vegas of all places.
It's a daily sports conversation and it's called ABC Sport Daily. Find us on the ABC Listen app.
Grandstand AFL.
Now streaming every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Short one to Isaac Cumming. Inboard to Cornelio. That is handballing it with ease. Lockie Ash will stroll through on goal from just inside 50. Oh yeah, that's the training drill. But it still needed the finish and Lockie Ash provided it. Champagne footy from GWS, but they are being allowed to do as they please by an insipid Essendon side so far.
Matt Guelphy for the Bombers getting a lot of attention on his right knee. He's doing some run-throughs, doesn't look great, so keep an eye on that.
Brown looking for Daniels, and Daniels looking for his third goal. It's coming around, it is through. Brent Daniels back in the team with 3 majors to his name. 10.5 minutes gone in the second term, and GWS lead by 53 points.
Sub has been made for Essendon. Jake Stringer warming up, out to get into the game.
Just outside attacking 50 for GWS. They'll put the Bombers under severe pressure yet again. Working his way to the front is Hogan, and marking on his chest. He just waltzed in front of 4 or 5 players, left his opponent well behind, marked on his chest. He's 6th in the AFL for marks inside 50 per game, Jesse Hogan. Taking another one and converted another one. He has 2. GWS have 10.
Well, a chance at goal here for the visitors, a rare one at that. He plays on, goes to the pocket, finds the man unmarked in Perkins. Whitfield provides some pressure, a little bit too much, says the umpire. Pays the advantage and coming in to thump it through his Giant Menzies. The Bombers at last have their second.
Kicks it to centre half forward. Hogan to Ash. Giants doing this easily again. And Lockie Ash has spotted up Toby Bedford. Toby Bedford's got a Michael Holding into Courtney Walsh style run up here. He's almost gone back to the wing, and he's marked it only 40 out from goal. The long run up worked. It allowed him to settle and kick through.
The 2023 AFL season.
On radio,
ABC Sport Digital.
and now streaming on the ABC Listen app.
Half-time at Giants Stadium. It's Greater Western Sydney leading 13-5-83 to Essendon 2-1-13. These two sides playing for their seasons, playing for finals football. And it's the Giants who have been clinical in the first half so far, chasing win number 12 in season 2023. You're with Brett Sprigg alongside Daniel Garb, Jason Saddington, Ty Kennelly and Declan Byrne on the boundary. The second half is not too far away. Quickly around the grounds. The most important around the grounds, of course, is the third place playoff at Lang Park in the World Cup. Our Matildas up against Sweden, just getting underway as we speak, Daniel Garb.
The Matildas have named an unchanged side from the semi-final. That's surprising, considering it's a third place playoff and usually you rotate, but it is the exact same 11 that started against England. So Sam Kerr with the skipper's armband again, Mary Fowler playing in behind her, and Australia hoping to finish third at what has been the most glorious home World Cup imaginable. They take on the Swedes, that game starting right now.
And you're there tomorrow night for the final?
England and Spain from around the corner from here, so looking forward to that immensely. Of course, all the coverage across ABC Sport.
Absolutely, on the ABC Listen app, which is where you can hear the third place playoff with Ned Hall and the team in Brisbane at present. Quickly in the NRL, earlier today the West Tigers beat the Dolphins 24-23, a 1-point game there. On the Gold Coast currently, Panthers 12 lead the Gold Coast Titans 6. Later on, St George Illawarra versus Melbourne Storm. In the NRLW, wins for the Roosters 30 over the Titans 8, Dragons 20, West Tigers 16, and the Sharks 40 beat the Cowboys 12 in Townsville. And of course, coverage of all of that via the ABC Listen app, your best place for live sport, where all of our ABC Sport offerings generally are. We'll keep an eye across the Matildas, of course, tonight. And they may even put it on the big screen, I reckon, guys. What do you? I mean, if this becomes a 90-point, 100-point game, not much point sticking around. But we'll keep you across all that, of course. Earlier, Richmond beat North Melbourne by 29 points at the MCG, and it was 4 points the win for Carlton over Gold Coast at Carrara. Later on, St Kilda v Geelong at Docklands. We'll preview that at three-quarter time here. And Adelaide versus Sydney at Adelaide Oval. Two massive games as far as the top 8 makeup is concerned, as this one is here. The Giants looking good. Percentage boosts. The Giants can still get a home final. Of course, Essendon have got Collingwood next week. We just learned a short time ago that Beau McCreary is out for a week because of his rough conduct on Darcy Wilmot out of that game against Brisbane last night. And by the way, the team's out there warming up, second half not too far away. We're asking for the record of inside 50s in a game. What are we up to now, did you say?
40
for the Giants.
So 83 is the record for inside 50s in a game, thanks to Mitch back in the studio. It was for Melbourne against Gold Coast in round 8 2018.
We're on track.
And North Melbourne to GWS in round 2 of 2012. So there you go, it's happened twice, 83 on track, but you never quite know here, Adam Kingsley's men, whether they take the foot off. I wouldn't have thought so. I mean, they've been untouched through most of that first half. And
It's more what Essendon throw up in the second half as to whether the Giants are going to push that 83. And you'd hope, I mean, the game's gone, let's be honest, the game's gone for the Bombers and the Giants. You know, they don't lose this game of footy, but it's what do the Bombers produce in this second half. It's about pride, and it's about showcasing maybe what you can produce next week in your last round. And I don't know if there'll still be a chance after this tonight, but and what you push forward into next year. But It's probably the biggest story of the second half. What will the Bombers actually bounce back or show something that at least suggests that they're not going to put up with an effort that they've put up in the first half?
Yeah, well, the Giants players should be fresh. It's bruise-free football in the first half of football, so they should be fresh and they should have an ability to actually keep going because they're playing for percentage, which could determine whether they play finals or not, because the Giants could win both games and still miss out in the finals. So this is a huge component. You'd think they'd want to put the foot in the throat and keep going.
A few more numbers, Garby, to half-time.
Firstly, the second biggest half-time lead in Giants history. They led the Blues by 74 points in 2019. Tom Green, 22 possessions. Ward and Cornelio, 16. McGrath has 18 for the Bombers. Hines, 17. Toby Green with a 4-score involvements as well and a couple of goals. He's number 2 in the AFL in that stat.
Off the SMS. Maybe at half-time, Brad Scott should show the Essendon players a 2001 game against North Melbourne, the greatest comeback in history. Can they mount that? Here's the second half. Daniel Garb.
They trail by 70 points, but guess what? The Giants have won it out of the middle yet again. Josh Kelly has it, throws it on his right, goes to half forward. The big leap down there came from Isaac Cumming. Giants win it at ground level. Perryman tries to guide one, looking for Riccardi on the lead. Kelly's roving, handball to Bedford. In the pocket, just kicks it to a dangerous area. Redmond overruns it. And then Stringer, the sub, gathers it. Merritt back to Zirk Thatcher in his own defensive goal square. Stringer gets it back from Cox. And then he finds Perkins, or Caldwell, on a lead, marking it right half back for Essendon.
A former Giant wastes no time. Out to a 2-on-1. Himmelberg comes across, strong grab. And he's not paid the mark. It's out of bounds for a throw. And that was by Jonathan, by the way, on the SMS 0437 774 774. It's in Alice Springs. Thank you, Jonathan, for your correspondence.
And keep them coming. We need some entertainment. I think the start has been exactly the same as the first half, winning the clearance easy.
If you're a Giants fan, you are very much entertained.
No change to our halftime score or margin. Whitfield out of the contest here to Josh Fay. On the bounce, it arrives to Himmelberg. Slips the tackle of Menzies. Handball back here to Tom Green. Off a step now. Fay's kick goes up in the air, and it's going to be a free kick for a hold. Will go the way of Callum Brown and the GWS Giants.
Just a relaxed Fay, doesn't he? He's just not clean enough at the minute. Just calm down and take the simple option and just execute the fundamentals of the game.
Absolutely. Young player. In terms of winning the footy, he's probably had his best possession game. I think he's up to 9, but he just hasn't used it well today. He's normally a great kick.
Callum Brown looks for Toby Green. He had separation on his opponent. It just sat up a little bit too much for Green, though, so the ball was slapped away from him. Redmond turns it over to Fay. Who then left it behind. McGrath gathers at half-back. Handball to Merritt. He handballs it over the top, looking for Caldwell. Bombers fans shout to Caldwell to pick it up. He doesn't. Essendon wins it back eventually, though. The free kick is going the way of Cox against Callum Brown. So 70 points the margin, but rivals of the Bombers will be enjoying this. Giants fans enjoying it. Essendon fans, it's torture at the moment. They'll be hoping for a much better display in the second half from their side.
Cox to Parrish, who marks on the commentary wing here for the Bombers. Nick Hind calls for it. It was a short option as Parrish gives it some distance. Up the members' side. From behind, right, tries to win it clear. Draper brought to ground there by the much smaller body in Perryman, and the umpire will ball it up. It's Nick Hind's birthday today, by the way, so not a memorable birthday for him. Age 29, a former Saint. Debuted at the age of 24, now a Bomber, of course. Here's Briggs v Draper in the ruck. Daniels turns a kick high back to the wing. McGrath parks himself under it. He's collared there by Tom Green, but it's going to be a mark first of all for the Bombers.
He's been the Bombers' best so far, Andy McGrath. Good job at half-back, plays on. Handball to Redmond up against the boundary line. Kicks into the right forward pocket for Essendon. Punched away from the target there in Menzies by Perryman, who's been really good. Boundary throw in right forward pocket for Essendon, down to Declan Byrne on the boundary.
And just an update on the subs. So Guelphy has been subbed out for Essendon, as we saw Stringer in, but McMullen, the GWS sub's still there. Buckley, who had a bit of a tension on his leg, is back out there. So McMullen's still the sub.
What was the Guelphy concern again, Declan?
So it was a right knee and hamstring, it looked like, and he's just come out limping from the rooms.
Back in it comes. Himmelberg, hand pass out in space. Onward here, Whitfield breaks the tackle of Merritt. Run down from behind by Lang. We've got the hand pass away though. Ash Chain of hands here. Kelly to Cornelio. Bounced in space away from Nick Martin. Still going Cornelio. Off here again to Daniels, who's poleaxed a big hit in the middle of the ground down there by Perkins. In fact, Zerk Thatcher it was. Slaps it to the outer side here, where it's swung by Menzies. Hand pass on. Now it's Perkins, 45 from goal. Wide here to Draper, who snaps from 45. He's got the hoof for this. It's across the face, though, and a minor score for the Bombers. It's just their fourth score of the game. 2-2-14. The Giants are 13-5-83. 4.5 played third term.
That was interesting at half back for the Giants. Whitfield had the ball, then just stopped. I think he felt as if Merritt tried to trip him as he ran across him. And maybe some frustration from the Bombers captain there with his team trailing by so much. Started the third term. And Whitfield turned around and gave him a pretty big hip and shoulder, to say the least. Ball in dispute. Centre half back for the Giants. Cornelio rocks it to himself. Bedford, now Tom Green, gets around Durham easily. Has Isaac Cumming running around him on the outer side. Gets the handball. Has a bounce. Kicks long into attack. Hogan's underneath it. As he's Callum Brown off hands. Hogan gets it back. His handball was too slick for Toby Green, but Toby recovers nicely. And on his left, it's a beautiful kick to Josh Fay. It bounces for him. Handball back to Josh Kelly. The snap on his left has missed, but it's a free kick to Fay for what I think is a high tackle, and he will kick from straight in front, the youngster, looking for his fourth goal in AFL football to put the Giants out to a 75-point lead.
We mentioned just before, he hasn't used the ball great so far tonight, Josh Fay. He's had the most impact in terms of winning the footy he's had in a game of AFL football in his early part of his career. He'd be hoping that this is one of his more efficient kicks for the night.
Just a bit of entertainment for us. We're up to 43 inside 50, so let's keep track of it.
It was taken high by Nick Cox. Josh Fay in the long sleeves. The left foot up. Nice. Slots it through with ease. He's on the board. The Giants are out by 75. They are 14-5-89. Essendon 2-2-14. We've gone 6 minutes in the third on ABC Grandstand.
And that might shift his confidence a small bit, from a disposal point of view, when he hasn't just been sharp with it, but it's great vision from Toby to look inside. It almost looked like they had too much time. The free kick was there, it was late. It might shift his confidence, and it's good young players coming in and adding some stuff for the team that's got a lot of experience in it. Of course, an academy footballer.
Once again, the Giants, once they get on the outside, it's just easy running ball. Isaac Cumming had a ton of space on the outside. And even Toby, when he turned, and Fay and both Josh Kelly were quite free inside 50.
Keep the SMS coming, 0437 774 774, right across the evening here on Grandstand AFL. Margin 75, the Giants' favour. One down by Phillips, although first pair of hands, Tom Green. Brought to ground by Stringer. Ward, he's collected high. Free kick Giants.
This is deplorable. I'm sorry. The hard ball gets and our ability around centre bounces is just...
Contested's 87-63, Toast.
High inside 50. Jesse Hogan, second bite. Big pack grab. Pulls it in. He'll take his kick from 40 out, slightly right of centre.
It's more the hard ball gets itself, themselves, not getting the ball in the contest initial piece. Whatever that number is.
That's ninth mark for Jesse Hogan, early in the third.
These numbers paint an ugly picture for the Bombers, whichever way you look at it.
It's good for your confidence, isn't it? This, again, you're playing a game like this going into another elimination final next week.
Jesse Hogan lining up here for his fourth goal of the night. The West Australian connects from 45. Goal umpire barely has to move. It's processional now for the Giants. They're out to an 81-point break on the Bombers. 15-5-95 to 2-2-14. 8 minutes gone third term Grandstand AFL. Declan Byrne on the boundary.
8 minutes gone third term and Essendon fans are leaving.
Wow. What was the crowd? We didn't get a crowd in the end. Don't leave too early. Well, we don't get many crowds. We don't get many crowds. The Derby had a good crowd, of course, because the Swans were here. Their last crowd of 5 figures was in the 2019 season, the grand final year. Of course, we had 2 write-off years since then with the COVID and no crowds and everything else. But I want to see if we can pump that 10,000 figure. The Bombers fans here may have just done that, but we'll see where they end up.
It's a great call, though, Dick. Ty Kennelly was ready to walk out at half-time as well and go watch the Matildas.
I'm watching it here as we talk through the game.
Jesse Hogan's 36th goal for the season. That's his equal best for the campaign, 4 majors. His all-time best is 7, and that's very much in play for Jesse Hogan at the moment. Giants lead by 81. secondary ball up in the middle of the ground.
The funniest thing is, Tiger and I were talking about this half time, Zerk Thatcher's actually done. He's been okay sometimes down there on Hogan, who's still having a massive game.
Well, he's been arguably the Bombers' best.
One of the better ones.
Crazy. Been really good. Jesse Hogan has dominated him today because the ball's been coming down there so easily. And it will again. Ward with a handball to Ash. Daniels has marked just outside 50. He's got 3 goals to his name as well, Brent Daniels. Back into the side, having a brilliant season. He just pops this one up. Who will fly for it? Phillips slaps it away from the contest. Fortuitously for him, it went to Merritt. Handball to Durham, left back pocket. Tries to clear the area. Iden watches it well, but then lost his footing. Stringer with a high handball over his head. Picked up well by Perkins. Gives it back to Stringer. Running off him is Hobbs. Hasn't had much of it, the youngster. A kick into the pocket for Essendon. Peter Wright gets hands to it, but couldn't take the mark. Buckley's there, trying to gather. Has Taylor in support. Taylor with ease gets it to Lockie Ash, and the Giants can get away from defensive 50.
Squirts the kick to Himmelberg at right half back. Giants still by 81 points here. Early stages, third term. A short kick to Isaac coming. Just slows things down here for the home side. Call to play on now. Thumping kick up the outer side. Phillips gets set. Strong overhead grab. And Essendon can start again from the outer side. For your interest, Garby, new contracts at the Eagles for Jeremy McGovern, Jamie Cripps, Jack Petricelli and Jack Williams, just announced a short time ago. Going forward of halfway here, the Bombers getting back in the hole. Himmelberg makes a contest. It trickles inside 50 now. Menzies waiting for it. Hobbs slaps it away clear. It comes from Caldwell. Little pitching wedge there from Sam Durham. Goes straight up in the air. It lands in the hot spot. Giants with numbers in defence. Perryman does the roving. Shares it with Keith. He's wrapped up there. And Buckley tries to break away now. Has a loose man in Josh Kelly.
Josh Kelly looks for Hogan on a lead. That's a brilliant kick. That's a bullet up the wing. Hogan got away from Zerk Thatcher again. 4 goals to his name, playing with plenty of confidence.
10th mark.
Was able to mark and then give it back to Josh Kelly. Just chip it inboard for Perryman, who's having a big game, as are most of the Giants. Himmelberg with time. He guides it for Hogan. Well, he's marked it inside 50 now. After taking the initial grab on the wing, worked hard to get back into attack. And Jesse Hogan is eyeing off his 5th. And we are just 11 minutes into the third term. He's given it to Connor Ryden instead. Iden's looking for the first goal of his AFL career. It might come, Connor Ryden. In game 64, is this the moment? No.
Wonderful.
Well, I reckon that's what you do when you are 81 points up. You look for a teammate who's never kicked a goal in his AFL career. It is just that easy for the Giants, making a mockery of this, but Iden couldn't capitalise.
Well, you see that in the under-12s.
Here's Nick Hind, the birthday boy. He's been busy down back for the Bombers tonight. Goes beyond defensive 50. McGrath was in the contest, and Durham brings it away here. He's not paid the mark either. Gives it back to the umpire. Still 0-0 by the way in Brisbane. Matildas and Sweden in that bronze place, or bronze medal playoff. It's towards half back here for the Bombers. Tom Green traps it, shares it with Ward. Going in hard. Iden gives the fend down there on Sardis. All the way back here for Green. Sweeping hand pass wide to Cumming. Now Cornelio's there as well. Off a step, he goes toward the paint of 50. Toby Green was outnumbered. It was good pressure from Nick Hind, who keeps it alive. Does he? No. Gets some pressure from Isaac Cumming. It is going to be a boundary throw-in. 55 around from the Giants. Attacking goal. Scoreboard end of the stadium which bears their name. 15-5-95 to 2-2-14. The margin 81 points, 13 gone, third term.
The Giants are just not taking the foot off though, are they? Every time Essendon win the footy, they're actually at them. They try to put pressure on. They're defending hard still.
And they're doing it again. Ward with the handball to Cumming. Goes wider to Tom Green. Possession number 27 for him. Looking for Lockie Keefe down there. Zerk Thatcher's under pressure. Well tackled by Hogan. Holding the ball. Hogan, well, it's been a tough afternoon for every Essendon defender, but Hogan is dominating Zerk Thatcher, and now he will kick his 5th on him because he's going to aim this one up from 10 metres out, only a slight angle.
And he's had a couple of pressure acts inside the forward 50.
That's his 4th tackle.
Is this his best game, Jason?
Yeah, 100%.
He looks very sharp, doesn't he, and energetic.
For 5 goals, Jesse Hogan, his biggest haul of the season. He's got it. 87 points. The Giants lead by. And you look around at the players in the red and black, it is hands on hips, it is head down, and no one wants to look anyone else in the eye.
Here's one for you. Yeah. When do you start looking at taking the foot off the pedal from a coaching perspective and you've got an eye, you're playing a final, you're playing Carlton, it's not like it's a round 23 home and away season, do you? Like, I know it's 10 odd minutes to go in the third quarter, but do you start the last quarter? I don't know. You just got to keep your foot in the pedal, and it's a really tricky one because it's a final they're playing next week. So,
but it's not like they're bashing themselves up to win the footy. You know, it's almost one of them games where at the end of the game you've got to look at your GPS and go, we actually didn't work hard enough. We need to do more work this week. You know what I mean?
Jesse Hogan's best game as a Giant. 5 goals and counting. Restart back in the middle. Riccardi in the ruck. Wins it down to Tom Green. Now Ward again. Clinical clearance as well here for the Giants. Unkind bounce for Happel. Onto it now is Cumming. Gets away from the chasing Cox. Goes high to the hot spot now here for the Giants. And Durham slides in and takes the mark between fullback and centre-half back for the Bombers. Margin 87 points in the Giants' favour. 15 gone, third term here.
101 to 14. Good mark by Mason Redmond. In front of right half-back for Essendon. It's a good kick as well to find Ben Hobbs on the wing. Takes the mark on his chest and then gets going. Chips it over the top to Caldwell. Quick handball to Saddis. The youngster looking for the Bombers' third of the game. Just misses. Picked 5 in last year's draft, playing his third game of AFL football. This is not an enjoyable one for him, but he's kicked to behind there. So the Bombers 2-3-15, GWS 16-5-101.
We might have some sub-movement downstairs, Declan Byrne. Back to you very shortly as Himmelberg kicks out here for the Giants. Taking McMullen, who was the debutant last week, the sub this week. Ward marks from the kick out. Sweeping hand pass off to Cornelio at half back, and now he is collected there under pressure from a couple of Bombers holding the ball. So Hobbs got him, and he'll have the ball at centre half forward. Declan Byrne on the boundary.
McMullen subbed in, Toby Green subbed out.
So Toby for Toby as Hobbs balks around Whitfield here and shies on goal from 45 out, puts it straight down the throat of Jack Buckley, who marks at full-back. So no change to our score. It's the Giants by 86 points.
I should have been a coach.
Well spotted, Tiganelli. They have put Toby Green in cotton wool, GWS. They've done that 16 minutes into the third quarter. A luxury for them.
Yeah, like it's round 22. It's a big season. You know, it's long and it's a quarter of football. What have you got to gain? You've got a lot less to lose with leaving Toby on the field.
It's common sense. Excellent mark by Callum Brown at half forward from the Josh Kelly kick. He looks for Hogan. Laverty's on him now. Off hands though. Daniel Lloyd roves it and just kicks across the face through Frey behind. Yeah, it makes complete sense. Yeah. And I reckon they'd want to bring Hogan off because we know his body can sometimes struggle week to week, but he's eyeing off a career best goal ball, so he won't be coming off anytime soon.
Yeah. Toby Green's your most important player. Beyond offensive 50 they come, and it's almost marked by Connor Iden. Declan Byrne not far away from you.
Yeah, Zach Merritt just came off, went and looked at Stringer, and I think he said, "This is bad."
Okay. Yeah, I agree with him. I think we all do. 87 points here, 17 gone third term. Get to your text very shortly, 0437 774 774. Wait for a break in play. Towed forward by Riccardi. Pinballs around here as the hand pass comes from Durham out wide to Hobbs, who was put down by Bedford. His kick comes up the line though. It missed Wright and Taylor. Taylor tries again in defence for the Giants. And the hand pass was picked off here by Josh Kelly, and now Ward gets to Perryman. Perryman's kick towards half forward now. Finds the lead of Hogan. He's 55 out. Could go for home himself, but wants to give it on here. Chips it across the half forward line to Josh Fay. And he takes the mark. And he's 55 from goal on the other side of the ground at right half forward.
A couple of leaders. This is
clever. Called the play on now. Draws the play. Himmelberg runs by. Has a shot from 45. Harry Himmelberg. What about that? He joins the party. Yeah, great swingman. His 148th AFL game. And it's just more punishment here for the Bombers. 93 points is that GWS lead. The Giants are 17-6, 108. Essendon 2-3-15. 18 go on third quarter on ABC Radio, News Radio, and via the ABC Listen app. This is Grandstand AFL.
Great composure from the young fella. You know, Fade actually, he probably lock on through his head thinking, I'll look inside. There's an options inside my 50. Inside 50. He ran at the man in the mark. He stepped at him and then just a little handball. You know, nicely done. But the lack of effort and intensity in this Essendon Football Club, they should be ashamed of themselves. I don't know how hard you can go on this, because you can control things in your football and how you play, and I keep going back to it. You can control it, and they're just not giving anything. It's 9-1 in clearances in the third quarter.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that statement, Tyke. Ashamed of themselves, they most certainly should be. But you consider that a top 8 spot is up for grabs. This club hasn't won a final since 2004. They are down by 93 points. We haven't hit time on in the third. And the Giants have it again with Callan Ward in the middle of the ground. Kicks it long. Launching for it is
just
Callan Brown. And he will kick for another one. And the Bombers have, well, they gave up a while ago. Now they want the siren to go, but I've got bad news for you, Essendon fans and players. It's a long way off. So you better get your act together. More records are going to be broken.
51 inside 50.
Oh, here we go.
Callan Brown will kick from 40 out.
Horse tie.
He's a long kick. He's a beautiful kick. He's looking for the 18th goal for the Giants in this game to stretch the margin out to 99 points. He just guides that through without having to exert himself at all. And the Giants are 18-6, 114. Essendon 2-3-15. Callan Brown has his first 99 points. GWS lead by.
Honestly, at halftime, I thought it couldn't get worse for Essendon. Like you couldn't play any worse than you have in the first half. But they've actually been worse again this quarter in terms.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, they're ashamed. They've had no reaction whatsoever from the way they've gone about the game.
I don't even know what to say.
Take us into the space. When you're out on the field and your teammates have given up, you're being hammered like this. What is going on out there?
Well, what you do is you go, all we can do is compete. And so you just try and stick tackles, make a contest, halve a contest, play a bit tighter on an opponent, just be a bit more physical. But they haven't gone into that mode whatsoever.
Margin 99 the Giants' way. Merritt tries to pluck it clear from the centre bounce. Hobbs does soccer it towards half forward. Running by Whitfield, brought to ground by Caldwell. Almost overrun there by Menzies. Mopped up in defence by Connor Iden. Kelly got a big shove there. That was Josh by Zach Merritt. And now Parrish runs by on that left boot. Goes inside 50. It missed Menzies. Himmelberg mops up here in defence. Fires the hand pass back to Green. They're away here again. The Giants off half back.
Himmelberg to Wyden. Now Jack Buckley pops it up to the wing. Over the head of Callan Brown and Heppel. Cox gathers it. Handball to Draper. And then he misses Dyson Heppel with an easy handball. Boundary throw in outer side. Watch for Connor Iden to get forward at some stage. It's something they speak about at the Giants a lot, that he's never kicked a goal. This is his 64th game. He had a shot a moment ago, but they will be looking for him to break that duck at some stage between now and the end of the game.
Got a few texts from Bombers fans as well, which I'll get to in a second. Just flooding the SMS with their disgust so far at this 99-point margin the Giants' way. Just hit time on now in the third term. Hind, little 1-2 hands with Parrish. Up the boundary line he goes to Menzies. It's out of bounds on the full. Where is this? Anyone would think Essendon is in the queue for Harley Reid, says Jim in Tasmania. Marcus in South Melbourne, thank you for your text. Asked how many Essendon fans have left to go with the Matildas and crack the Porter Tig. He's always talking about the Porter, our man Marcus in South Melbourne. He goes inside 50 here, the Giants. It was quick work that time from Whitfield to find Tom Green, and he clunks the mark 45 out, slightly right of centre. This is absolutely deplorable, says Michael in Footscray. Not even VFL level, disgusting Essendon. And another Michael says, what's even worse for Essendon is the Giants usually finish strong in the last quarter, especially at home. That's right.
Yeah, they're the best last quarter behind Collingwood.
They could really demoralise the Bombers even more so here. And this from Tom Green to put the margin into 3 figures. 22 gone third term. 31 disposals and a couple of goals against Port last week. He was among their best, Tom Green. He lets fly here with a set shot. It's got the carry and the accuracy as well. He wasn't convinced, I don't think, but maybe it's a matter of just keeping a lid on things, because this game was done a long time ago. Margin 105. Giants 19-6, 120. Essendon 2-3-15. 23 gone third term here on Grandstand AFL. And by the way, 28 minutes gone in Brisbane. Matildas and Sweden still 0-0 in the Bronze Place playoff.
It's a good game. Sweden and Matilda, I'm saying. Sorry.
All I can see is your arms going up in the air at the back of the box here. You're just watching the game. It's shots on goal back there. For the people obviously that are listening, you probably didn't see what took place. So Essendon kicked the ball out the full, up on the wing. The Giants, I think it might have been Kelly, took it and was able to just, it was a 50-metre penalty, so he was able to just stroll up the field and then hit Tom Green uncontested inside 50 off a slow play.
How's Tom Green's game? 30 disposals, 14 contested, 7 clearances, 5 inside 50s, 9 score involvements and a goal. We've gone 23 and a bit in the third quarter. Stringer has marked it, left half forward for the Bombers, looks for Langford on a lead and finds him. Bronx cheers coming up from the Essendon fans that are here, the few that are remaining inside Giants Stadium. The margin is 105 points. And Langford is looking for his second goal of the game and only the third for Essendon.
At least he's still presenting and wants the ball in his hands, you know.
And for goal number 50 of his season, he has been a find in attack for the Bombers in 2023, Kyle Langford. For his half century, he's got it. There's barely any celebration, of course. They are embarrassed at the moment, Essendon, but Kyle Langford can be proud of his campaign and proud of the fact that he has notched up 50 goals for the season.
Off the SMS, Mark in Mentone says, effort, attitude, Essendon, 2 things you can control. Fire up or don't. Put your hand up to get paid. Oof. Yeah, it's a lot of sentiment like that from a few fans coming here on the SMS. 0437 774 774. Coming up, Kilda Geelong at Docklands and Adelaide Sydney at the Oval.
I mean, the last time we felt like this about a game was when we watched Sydney against West Coast. Yeah. The margin was a bit larger than 170, but it's been that exact same feeling of one team completely giving up, not wanting to be out there, and the other side being ruthless and just destroying them.
We're on the spot here.
Yeah, penalty to Sweden.
Penalty for Sweden. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on this, by the way.
I'll keep an eye on the Sweden game, and you keep an eye on the game.
Yeah, well, through that. We start back in the middle here as Briggs miscued his kick here. It's mopped up by Merritt for the Bombers. He swings it wide to the outer side, where it's Jake Kelly, reliable defender. On his left boot, goes high inside 50. Phillips gets up there. Third bite, pulls in the grab. He's 40 out left at centre. And he'll take his set shot from an angle better than 45 degrees. The retiring Andrew Phillips, the former Giant and Blue.
A rare centre clearance win from the Bombers. Phillips, strong mark up forward. It's good to see him try and push forward if they are going to win the footy.
What's not good to see is that Sweden have hit that penalty. So that's a 1-0 lead over the Matildas in Brisbane in the third place playoff in the first half there. Here's Phillips lining up at goal on the approach. Gets under this one. It's on its way. It is straight. The Bombers have a couple of goals in quick succession. Back-to-back goals for the first time in the game. They're 4-3-27. The Giants, though, 19-6, 120, 27 goal on third term here on Grandstand AFL.
It clearly should have been a tactic from the start of the game when you got 2 ruckmen against Briggs. You know, I know Keefe was there to help out, but actually just test him, work him over and do something to actually test him out and don't let him play the game that he's been playing. But
well done to Andrew Phillips. I know he's still got a game to go next week as well in his career and finish off against the Pies. But, 12 seasons as a ruckman, bit of a journeyman around to a few footy clubs. He's still had a decent year of footy. He's had impact. He's finished off his career really well. So well done, Andrew Phillips.
That's the odd thing. He's had arguably his best season and he's retiring. Probably similar to Daniel Lloyd. He's had a really good campaign and also chosen to retire. But perhaps player motivation is different for different characters, and they've said, I want to go out this way. Slightly better from the Bombers over the last few minutes. Back-to-back goals, and they've won the clearance. Now Toby Bedford looks to gather it on the wing. Tom Green wins another stoppage contest situation. Just brilliant. Kelly to Whitfield. Perryman marks it. Centre half back. The big switch out to Connor Iden. Handball to Ash, who's running off him. Looks inboard, wants the corridor. Finds Whitfield. 93 points, GWS lead by.
From the outer wing.
In the middle.
They come in field now for Stephen Cornelio. What's that for him now? He's up to 20 disposals as well, the former captain. Short ball to Whitfield running by. Down the corridor he goes, on his lead of Hogan again. Coming up from full forward. Takes a simple chest mark, 35 out directly in front. And a chance here at goal number 6.
We've seen his major strength, haven't we, Whitfield, tonight? His ability to use the ball by foot is elite, and we're seeing it tonight in abundance.
Michael in Warrnambool says time to bring back Sheeds and Hurdy. Both former Giants coaching staff, of course, Kevin Sheedy and James Hurd. Marcus says, I believe Brad Scott has failed in his first year as coach. Fair call.
The issue they've got is the lack of leadership. Obviously kicked the goal.
Lines up here. Started approach here for goal number 6, but he makes no mistake. Half a dozen for Jesse Hogan. And the Giants get one back. They're out to 99 points again. 126 to 4-3-27 here on Grandstand AFL late in the third term.
Now, my point being, where's the leadership? And you look at the players that are out there, and the leadership component is clearly lacking in a team that's been, clearly below average tonight, but below average in the last few years. And that's the challenging piece for a team that wants to develop and go places and go forward and make those jumps and play those games in finals games, attitudes where you got to win it to actually get across the line and make the 8. There's no leadership whatsoever out here tonight.
It is an interesting question assessing their season. I know, again, we've still got a round to go, but it was so promising the front half. The first half of the season was so promising, but the second half of the season been so disappointing. So what do you take out of this back end? Do you look at next year going, we're taking steps forward, we've got confidence? Or
probably the depth in the list as well has been challenged under being able to do it early in the season and not in the latter part.
Merritt here in the middle of the ground. Free kick on the play. Go downfield for the Bombers. So Hogan's kicked 6 for the second time in his career. The last time he kicked 6 in a game, round 6, 2016. When he was still playing for Melbourne against St Kilda. And his career PB is 7, and that would be front and centre of his mind, I'm very sure.
That was 2 clubs ago for Jesse Hogan.
Yeah. Here's Jake Stringer. He's a premiership player, 3-time leading goal kicker at the Bulldogs, 3-time leading goal kicker at Essendon. Sneaky good resume, Jake Stringer. Into the game as the sub, kicking from just inside 50. He's pulled it to the left. So the Bombers are 4-4-28. GWS 26, 126, leading by 98 points. And we're close to three-quarter time.
Playing Park, 1-0. Sweden lead the Matildas in that bronze medal playoff. Fran from Melbourne always loves Jesse Hogan on the SMS. Always says how much he loves Jesse Hogan. Coming back from where he's been so happy, he's found a club and the improvement he has made to play his footy. On your Fran, 0437 774 774. Tom Green tumbles a kick up the outer wing here at Giants Stadium. It's off hands for a throw-in. What else did I get there? David Carlton says Essendon players are hundreds and thousands of dollars and they are playing like this. Strip their salaries immediately. Essendon, shame on you. Disgusting, says David. Very strong words from a lot of you out there. As I'm sure there is frustration for Essendon fans. 98 points is the Giants lead here as we approach three-quarter time in Sydney. From the stoppage, Tom Green's kick was hurried into about row 3. It's an Essendon ball at left half back here.
Nick Hines, possession number 22 for him. Both he and Andy McGrath have tried hard across half back to get something going for the Bombers, to no avail. Kick up to the wing. Phillips does well to win front position and mark. Started his career here at Greater Western Sydney. Moved to Carlton, now to Essendon to finish things off. The kick to half forward from Phillips. Underneath it is Taylor. Went through his hands. That's rare for him. And then he was caught high by Jake Stringer. He was not happy. So a free kick to Sam Taylor. Just the 4 disposals for him in this game. That's his first kick. But he hasn't been called into action too much because the Giants have dominated. And they've dominated in a ruthless fashion. They lead by 98 points at three-quarter time. There are some boos from the Bombers fans here at Giants Stadium for their team, who have only kicked 4-4-28 to the three-quarter time break. GWS 20 goals, 6. 126.
Goal kickers so far. Jesse Hogan has 6. It's 3 for Brent Daniels, 2 each for Toby Green, who was subbed out in that third term tactically for Toby McMullen. Toby Bedford also has a couple of goals. Singles to Jake Riccardi, Harry Himmelberg, Stephen Cornelio, Lockie Ash, and Josh Fay, and Callum Brown as well, while for the Bombers, 2 for Cole Langford, he's brought up his 50 for the year, and 1 each to Jai Menzie and to Andrew Phillips. On ABC Radio, News Radio, and via the ABC Listen app, you're listening to ABC Grandstand AFL.
We need to go now.
You're not taking me out of my own home, Arthur.
Denise Scott and Matt O'Kine.
It's an assisted living village, Mum.
In a shiny new comedy.
Where are the goat farm?
Mother and son.
You haven't even mentioned my new mode.
It's hideous.
Cheeky. Provocative.
What'll we do now?
And proves love is relative.
Looks like it's just you and me, Mum.
Believe me, Arthur.
Mother and Son.
That's more than enough.
Starts 8:30 Wednesday night on ABC TV and ABC iView. Grandstand AFL.
Now streaming every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
And on his left, it's a beautiful kick to Josh Fay. It bounces for him. Handball back to Josh Kelly. The snap on his left has missed, but it's a free kick to Fay. It was taken high by Nick Cox. Josh Fay in the long sleeves. The left foot up. Slots it through with ease. He's on the board.
Inside 50. Jesse Hogan, second bite. Big pack grab. Pulls it in. Jesse Hogan lining up here for his fourth goal of the night. West Australian connects from 45. Goal umpire barely has to move. It's processional now for the Giants. They're out to an 81-point break on the Bombers.
8 minutes gone, third term, and Essendon fans are leaving.
Forward to the handball to come in, goes wider to Tom Green. Possession number 27 for him. Looking for Lockie Keefe down there. Zerk Thatcher's under pressure. Well tackled by Hogan, holding the ball. The 5 goals, Jesse Hogan. His biggest haul of the season. He's got it. And you look around at the players in the red and black. It is hands on hips. It is head down. And no one wants to look anyone else in the eye.
McMullen subbed in. Toby Green subbed out.
Draws the play. Himmelberg runs by. Has a shot from 45. Harry Himmelberg. What about that? He joins the party. Yeah, great swingman. His 148th AFL game. And it's just more punishment here for the Bombers.
Yeah, Zach Merritt just came off, went and looked at Stringer, and I think he said this is bad.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Stringer has marked it. Left half forward for the Bombers. Looks for Langford on a lead and finds him. Bronx cheers coming up from the Essendon fans that are here. The few that are remaining. And for goal number 50 of his season, he has been a find in attack for the Bombers in 2023, Kyle Langford. For his half century, he's got it. There's barely any celebration, of course.
The 2023 AFL season.
On radio,
ABC Sport Digital.
and now streaming on the ABC Listen app.
98 points, the Giants lead here in Sydney. 2 massive games coming up. Listening through local radio South Australia or News Radio New South Wales. Adelaide, Sydney coming your way. Massive for both of those sides. Equally big is St Kilda Geelong at Docklands, and Ben Cameron leads our commentary team there. Ben.
Thank you, Spriggy. Who needs wildcard games? We've virtually got one tonight for St Kilda. Win and they're in to the finals this year. They've been in the 8 all year, but could slip out if they lose tonight. And given they'll face Brisbane next week up at the Gabba, who have only lost 4 times in their last 51 home and away games there, it's hard-pressed to see the Saints winning up there next week. So tonight is the night for Saints fans. The Cats, their premiership defence is on the line. They need to win or go home. Have these Cats used up all of their lives? That's what we'll find out when the Saints take on the Cats next.
Great stuff, Ben. Headed there, most of us, for that game. St Kilda Geelong at Docklands with yourself and the rest of the commentary team, while Adelaide, Sydney, for listening through local radio South Australia or News Radio New South Wales. It is still Sweden 1, Matildas 0 late in the first half in Brisbane. Meanwhile, your experts here are Ty Kennelly and Jason Saddington. The Giants lead here by 98 points over Essendon.
Can we get a reaction or something from Essendon? That's the question. The Giants will keep going and clearly the game's won, but it's the reaction that you want to. Look, the season's been better. It's been a better season. 7 wins, I think it was last year they had. The touch was 11 wins. So it's been a better season. We just don't want it to fade out like this. And playing Collingwood next week, Friday night, last game of the year, and have two bad losses, it really does dint you going into a pre-season. So just some bit of a reaction from the Essendon Football Club. It's a very proud football club with a lot of history, and those players down there need to understand that they've got that responsibility, one from a leadership point of view, to actually do something, but as a player yourself in your own individual performance, it's just not good enough at AFL level. And people sending in those messages, and they're every right to be angry and disappointed with the Essendon Football Club, because it's not acceptable to people. They've got over 100,000 members. It's a huge football club, and this club wants to go places. It's not good enough for 3/4 of football.
And probably a big part for the Giants now, I mean, obviously it's a huge lead, is do you keep at it? You know, percentage booster, they're up to 104%, you know, now on the live ladder. I think they started about 99. So will it play a part? Depends what happens a little bit tonight. If St Kilda cop a belting from Geelong, they come back down. It could play a part, you know, in terms of that last spot next week. So they probably want to keep at it, the Giants, and keep extending on what they're doing here.
Tom Green has 33 possessions, 16 of those contested, 8 clearances, 5 inside 50s, 10 score involvements and a goal. Ward of the 25, Whitfield 24. That is a massive game for Tom Green. Jesse Hogan's 6 goals to his name.
And in the final quarter we go. Parrish wins the clearance, only as far as Josh Kelly, who spun the tackle of Hobbs. Merritt's kick was smothered. Back here for Cal Ward. Taps it on here towards half back, but it's picked up again by the Bombers, and Merritt gets on the end of a hand pass there from Jake Kelly. Shies on goal, misses near side. The skipper for a minor score.
Maybe something the coach's mindset tells you, with Briggs starting full forward in the last quarter and Keefe in the ruck, so he's probably getting him prepared for next week as well. Subconsciously maybe giving him a chop out as well.
Tom Green with a mark here at half-back, so possession number 35 coming up for him. He might register 50.
Well, I reckon his career high is 38, Tom Green, so there's a watch for career high for him. Jesse Hogan, how many goals career high did we say?
7. He's on 6.
That's on the go. Connor Iden hasn't kicked a goal. That's on the go.
Inside 50s?
No, we're only at 53.
Okay.
Plenty of things to watch out for, that's for sure, as Andrew Phillips slaps us on the wing, and then 2 Bombers run into each other, Hobbs and Merritt. That allows the Giants to win it back.
Here's another one. What's Bombers' lowest ever score in a game?
I think that's out of play at the moment, even though they're only 4-5-29. But plenty of records are going to tumble. Don't worry about that. Here's Satis, the youngster. Squeezes one out wide to Peter Wright, who has barely touched it. His first kick coming up and just his 5th disposal. Guides it to the pocket. Cole Langford keeps his feet well. He's kicked 2 goals. On his left, he snaps it into a dangerous spot. Stringer grabs it. Buckley grabs him. Excellent tackle to pin the arm. Eventually, Stringer gets the kick clear. Whitfield will gather the football in his own defensive goal square.
And Whitfield hand pass off to Ward. Keeps it alive now in the defensive pocket. Perryman comes beyond defensive 50. Up goes Daniel Lloyd again. That's a strong go over Darcy Parish. Central Coast product who's retiring at season's end. It's a warm round of applause. His kick weighted here by foot to Stephen Cornelio. And it's to Daniels at half forward. Cornelio kept running, receives a hand pass, draws the player. Hand pass down to Brown in the pocket, escapes the clutches of Hind, and hurriedly fires on goal that misses near side. So it was coast to coast from the Giants, but a minor score only. 127 to 4-5. 29 Declan Byrne on the boundary.
And as expected at three-quarter time, the moods couldn't have been different in the huddles. There was laughing and joking in the Giants one. There was a lot of staring in the Essendon one, including Dyson Heppel, who is out of contract and at age 31.
McGrath brings the ball back into play for the Bombers. Phillips was fighting away in the ruck, doing a better job than Draper was at the moment, giving the Bombers something. McGrath gets it back at centre half-back. Quick 1-2 with Parrish. Now to Redmond. Fires one into Zach Merritt, just behind the centre circles. McGrath kept running. Spots up Nick Martin at half forward. Now looking for Jake Kelly, just inside 50. Kelly's kick of goal will be marked in front of his own defensive goal line by Connor Iden, dropping back.
London-born, Geelong raised, Connor Iden. A 98-point break the Giants' way. He thumps it beyond defensive 50, and it's marked out there. A strong grab from Lockie Ash at left half back. In fact, it's Sam Taylor, beg your pardon, comes in board now for Buckley. Brendan asks, a question they'll be asking the Bombers is how they improved from last year. I suppose that's another key question in Brad Scott's first year in charge, as we've discussed a little bit previously so far, as Ward finds Himmelberg, middle of Giants Stadium, loads up inside 50 now. Hogan's back there, kick was a little too deep for him. He gets a free kick, does he? Nothing on play here. He got one from Laverty. He hits the deck hard though, as meanwhile Daniels fires on goal and misses to the left-hand side. It's out of bounds on the full. No change to our score. It's the Giants by 98 points, 4-goal final term.
Slow to get to his feet, Jesse Hogan, but now he's walking and giving the umpire a stare, to say the least, because he wasn't given that free kick. He wants a 7th goal.
Yeah, he's hungry, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got 6. Here's Elijah Satis in his own defensive 50 for the Bombers. He trail by 98 points here at Giants Stadium. Early stages of the last term. Redmond tracks it on the outer side, but the sub McMullen is with him, and he's on the ground because Toby Green was subbed out early stages of that third term, wrapped up in cotton wool by Adam Kingsley with a massive game against Carlton next week to try and sew up a final spot for the Giants.
Carlton did that against the Gold Coast Suns earlier, winning by 4 points at Carrara to shore up 5th spot for now. Meanwhile, Cornelio toes it forward, gets it back from Daniels now. Cornelio keeps running again, spots up Hogan. Long way from home here, 75 out. And it'll be 50.
Here we go.
Long way out, no more.
And stepping that time, Laverty giving away the 50. So this will bring Hogan well within range for a chance at a career best 7th, equal career best.
14 marks he's up to now, Jesse Hogan as well. 13 score involvements, that's huge.
You said it before the game, Jay, it's the importance of this guy for the Giants, you know, so clearly you're going to need him next week, and if he's got half of this form, go a long way towards him making the finals.
We'll play the very last game of the home and away season next week against Carlton. We'll be calling Swans Melbourne, of course. Buddy Franklin's lap of honour next week at the SCG here in Sydney. Hogan on the approach, almost directly in front, 15 out, made the goal umpire work, but thumps it through for goal number 7. Equal career high for Jesse Hogan, and the margin is back beyond 100 points. It's 104 points, in fact. The Giants 21-7, 133, Essendon 4-5, 29. Your experts on Grandstand AFL are Jason Saddington and Ty Kennelly.
And he has had a career best season, I think, at least certainly since the early part of his career, where he was a high draft pick and showed a ton of potential at Melbourne very early on. But this has been his best season by a long way for a long time. He's been a great pickup from the Giants, and he is hugely important. I mean, he's obviously kicking goals, taking marks tonight, but the impact that he has up forward to allow a Toby Green or a Jake Riccardi or other players to get off the chain a little bit more is huge. And we saw when he missed a couple of weeks, it made a big difference to their forward line, and he's just been outstanding, and it's actually just a reward for him tonight to have an absolute standout game.
The Giants lead by 104 points. Jesse Hogan has 7 goals. Free kick to Merritt in the middle of the ground. Caldwell. Parrish is under pressure. Caldwell gets it back. Well done by Cornelio, though. He read the handball to Durham and was able to collect the football at right half back and just chip it short to Perryman. And he spots up Lockie Ash. Possession number 20 coming up for him. Giants happy to trip it around in defensive 50. Sam Taylor has it. What a star he is. Number 1 in the competition for intercept possessions per game, Sam Taylor. Gives it back to Lockie Ash. Switches it looking for Josh Fay. Redmond did well just to close on him and punch it away. Doesn't have too many options though. And then he slips Mason to Redmond. Fay caught him. Redmond got rid of the football. Giants win it back. Bedford just handballs it to himself. Then gets a push in the back. Well, there was frustration from Perkins as Bedford was basically taunting him, handballing the football to himself. Perkins didn't like it, pushed him in the back, and Bedford has the free kick on the wing.
A former Demon. Looks at the options, plays on, high ball inside 50, and a second bite, and Hogan pulls it in again. Strong pack grab from Jesse, swings it across the half-forward line. Easy mark was dropped down there by Isaac Cumming. Recovers it, though, in time to get the kick away. McMullen, not 15. Play on, says the umpire. Trickles free to Riccardi here in the pocket. He works it all the way back here. Again to Isaac Cumming, who marks 52 from goal on a 45-degree angle. Spears the pass inside 50. Half-volley pick up down there for McMullen, the sub. Now it ricochets out toward Tom Green. Back to Isaac Cumming again. Off to Himmelberg. He's 45 out. Top of the hot spot again. Jesse Hogan's there. Jesse Hogan takes it cleanly again. 20 out directly in front. And a chance to go back here for goal number 8.
The Giants absolutely messed around with the footy, mucked it up, fumbled the ball, still kept getting it back, and still able to take a mark inside 50.
It's hard. This is genuine day-out territory. If you kick 8 goals, I mean, these days more than 6 is a day out, but Jesse Hogan lining up here for 8. An outright career best for the 3-club player. He makes no mistake. What a night for Jesse Hogan and for the GWS Giants. 110 points, a new game-high lead, 22-7, 139 to 4-5, 29. So 9.5 gone final term here on Grandstand AFL. By the way, off the SMS, Andrew and Wangaratta's naming names. He's saying time for a clean out at the Bombers. James Stewart, Wiedemann, Tipper, Setterfield to name a few. So already changes being made.
Really happy for Jesse Hogan. Like, anyone who's met him knows he's a ripping bloke. He's had a lot of challenges off the field. He's had some personal demons that have impacted his footy. Went back to Freo. That obviously just wasn't a smart decision to go back to Perth. That obviously brought back a lot of issues for him. He's come to GWS. It was last chance saloon. He's done really well to lead this forward line alongside Toby Green, and today he cashes in with 8 goals.
It worked so good because we could have lost this guy to football with the issues that he had, and he fought through those demons and came through, and obviously is having a great year.
110 points, the Giants lead by. The Bombers do some attacking, which is a rarity. Here's Perkins looking for Hobbs. It's punched away from him. Merritt's there, the Bombers skipper. I wonder what is going through his head on a day like this. Giants win it back, but a handball from Cornelio, only as far as Redmond. On the wing, kicks to Stringer at centre-half forward, who came on as a sub for the injured Guelphy. He marks, kicks to a contest. Looking to grab it is Langford. Didn't take it at the second bite. Draper's down there now in the forward line. It's gathered by Ash, and Iden gets the handball to Cumming.
Cumming wheels on quickly here up the outer side. McCarty got a shove and wins a free kick. That time again it was Laverty infringing. Come up the outer side again here, the Giants. Daniels just forward of halfway. On inclusion he's been as well. Strong in the first half especially. High inside 50 they go. Daniel Lloyd outbodies Heppel. Controls the ball to his chest. 30 out directly in front.
Last home game, this is great. This is great for him. Send off, obviously, everything he's gone through. And, I would say one of the best role players in the competition for a 10-year period, and came in and obviously played in the grand final. And look at young footballers, understand if you play your role, you're going to have a long career.
Listen to the chant for Lloydie, Lloydie. You don't hear this crowd too vocal too often, but he is adored. The Central Coast product here. Place not known for its football talent. Right over the goal umpire's hat, and his teammates come from absolutely everywhere. Joins the list of goal kickers for the Giants, and they're out to a 116-point margin here. 23-7, 145 to 4-5-29. A night for the record books here for the Giants. 12 gone final term, Grandstand AFL.
I think it was Callum Moore that said late this week, the ultimate team man, ultimate teammate, Daniel Lloyd. And you can see that there after he kicked the goal. All 17 other players on the field all ran up to get around him. And we must have half the Central Coast here all in the crowd. You can still hear the Lloydie chants going around. Well done, Daniel Lloyd.
Yeah,
Kalani Vale, McVeigh territory.
Yeah, and rookie listed in 2016. It was Mark McVeigh that brought him down to Leon and said, you got to have a look at this guy. And Leon showed the faith, and he obviously gave the faith back to the football club.
Really popular team member. Sorry, Spriggy.
By the way, half-time in Brisbane. Sweden Matildas still 1-0 Sweden.
116 points. The Giants lead the Bombers by here. 12 and a half minutes gone in the last quarter. And the Giants still fighting for everything. Himmelberg floated across the pack and slapped it away from the contest. Iden gathered it, chipped it to Josh Fay, right half back. On his left, drive GWS up the wing. This can still get a whole lot uglier for Essendon. Lots of records in sight for the Giants, and records the Bombers don't want. In danger as well of being reached. 116 points is the lead. GWS 23-7, 145. The Bombers 4-5-29.
Another little plot point on that game at Docklands, as Declan mentioned earlier. So if the Cats get the Saints by enough, that will displace St Kilda from 6th spot. The Giants will be there tonight. In provisional spot for a home final. So that gives you an idea of what's still to play out the next couple of weeks. Essendon win the ball back off half-back. Sardis comes out wide. Back to the former skipper in Dyson Happel. Tumbles it down inside forward 50. Draper, awkward low ball for a big man. Off here in space. It's picked up by Whitfield. Ash bursts away. Gets away with ease from Hobbs. There's a little shepherd there on Durham coming by to get the ball off to Kelly. And now the Giants number 22 comes wide to Bedford. He goes forward of halfway now for the home side. Callum Brown. Strong contest on Cox. Mark not paid. Play on. Works it back by hand to Riccardi. Puts the Giants back inside. 50. There's Jesse Hogan again. Marks in the hole. 35 out directly in front.
Let's get the 10.
This is number 9. Yes. And there's still plenty of time too. 14 gone final term.
Oh, this is great.
Already a career night for Jesse Hogan. Going back here for goal number 9. Well, he's got the Bombers covered. They've only kicked 4 all up. Jesse Hogan on the runway here. Already a career best night. There is goal number 9 for Jesse Hogan. What a night for he and the Giants. 24-7, 151. The Bombers are 4-5-29. Margin 122 points, Daniel Garb.
And at the moment, this is the 5th biggest defeat in Essendon history.
Wow. Yeah,
and there are other ones in sight. So 4th biggest is 138. Their greatest ever loss is 163 points. Not sure we'll reach that with about 10 minutes remaining. But at the moment, the 5th biggest loss in Essendon's proud history.
The problem with it is there's so much to play for.
Yeah.
It's not a regular home and away season game, so you've got no excuse to actually come and be ready to play for this game because you're playing for a final spot, you know. And the other thing just on Jesse Hogan, if you're an Essendon footballer and a player has kicked 6 goals in today's footy, any ball that goes inside the forward 50 or your defensive 50, you're getting on him and he's not going to kick another goal. I'll be saying it right now, going, he's not kicking 10. And you see him 1v1 again here.
It's going forward again off the bit of Callan Ward. Lloyd fighting for it. The Bombers under pressure. Zirk Thatcher tries to punch it away. Heppel gathers. Jake Kelly sends it up the wing. Well done by Hobbs to win front position against Whitfield and then win the free kick for a hole.
This is the Giants' biggest win by some margin. 208 was the previous mark, so 122 now. It'll still be a record margin for them by way of wins.
Does this help them or not for next week? You're coming into a Carlton game.
Can't hurt.
No, it can't hurt, I suppose, can it?
Hobbs' kick goes inside 50 and Sam Taylor is wrapped up, especially the confidence of Jesse Hogan, who has 9 goals to his name.
You almost wouldn't want to review it as a coaching group for both sets of coaches. Move on quick as you can.
Their equal third highest score as well, just 9 points off their highest ever score, the Giants. Himmelberg from half back to Whitfield, keeps it alive now, chops the hand pass back inboard for Josh Kelly, skids out towards Ward, bounced off his chest, one away here by McGrath of the Bombers, although it's turned over again. Cornelio back to Ward, the 2 Giants veterans combined, and it's out to Josh Fay on the outer side.
Well, we're looking for Jesse Hogan. He's broken free again. His teammates looking for him as well. A couple of Bombers got in front of him though. They know the score now. Hogan wants to kick his 10th. Gathered by Riccardi at half forward. His handball, though, is straight to Perkins inside his own defensive 50. Run down strongly by McMullen and caught. The youngster looking for the first goal of his career in just his 2nd game. Has caught Archie Perkins cold, holding the ball inside defensive 50. He'll kick for his first ever goal from 45 out, pretty much directly in front.
Yeah, well, Archie Perkins, he looked up and he thought, I've got nothing to go to here. There's no one to actually go to out in the wing. That's why he propped and stopped, and McMullen just cashed in. His eyes lit up. Here's my chance. I'll get a tackle here and go back. Hopefully he kicks his first goal of AFL football.
Well, the Giants players and fans celebrated the goal for Daniel Lloyd a moment ago, who is retiring. It's his last home game. McMullen's looking for his first goal. It's just across the face. That's a shame. But the lead's 123 points, so I'm sure the Giants are suitably satisfied.
Nick Hind, the kick out again.
It's a good birthday present, this one, isn't it?
29 today, Nick Hind. Goes beyond defensive 50. Briggs takes a strong chest mark here for the Giants at right half forward. He'll pop them back inside 50. Wants to find Lloyd. A little too deep for him. Hogan leaps, couldn't pull in the grab either. At the drop though, rode by Cornelio. Gets around 1-2. He beat Cox and now he fires on goal. Misses to the near side. Margin 124 points the Giants' way. 24-9, 153 to 4-5-29.
Possession number 32 for Cornelio.
He's had a big final quarter,
hasn't he? Cole Langford's now deep in defence. It's the Bombers' best forward target, but he's dropped inside defensive 50. And Briggs has marked it again. He has bullied the Bombers in the ruck. Put paid to Sam Draper, who's barely been seen in the ruck after half-time. And he's getting on top of Phillips as well. Callum Brown thought he should have had a free kick for something high. Isaac Cumming picks it up. Again, the Giants are inside attacking 50. It's volleyball down there. Brown to Cornelio. Handball to Bedford. And now Kelly drills one from directly in front. Well, they are humiliating Essendon beyond the pale here at Giants Stadium. I mean, that was literally as easy as it could be. And they were just toying with the Bombers by just passing it around volleyball style inside their own attacking 50. The margin now 130 points in favour of GWS.
How would you be for Zach Merritt as a captain of this football club right now? You know, it's just walking through them. There's no physical contact whatsoever. It's if you could say anything else, the scoreboard says enough.
That's now 12 different goal kickers and one bloke's kicked 9. Yeah. So that's extraordinary for the Giants. Declan Byrne on the boundary.
Yeah, Kieran Briggs got a bit of attention on his right quad, maybe second and third quarter, and he's limped off again here. Really struggled to even sit down, so that is not good news. Hopefully just a corky, but yeah, he was in some pain coming off just then.
Most of us, Vic, Taz, WA, NT, off to Secula and Geelong at Docklands next. Otherwise, Adelaide v Sydney. Adelaide over with Aaron Bryans and the team through News Radio and Local Radio SA. They're having a score review here, by the way.
Who cares? Look at the score. Come on.
Does it really matter? Josh Kelly's shaking his head as well.
Checking whether it hit the post.
It didn't look convincing, did it? He sort of,
I thought he missed it off the boot.
Has it shaved the padding behind, or is it...
You can't tell, umpire's call.
No,
it's the umpire's flag.
There's little point to this, to be honest.
Yeah. Just give it.
It's inconclusive.
Normally you can tell from it.
No, they're going to come back and say it's a behind.
Really?
All right, sorry. So Josh Kelly, you can scrub that goal. Back to 11 different goal kickers for the Giants. And it's back to...
All right, gives Jesse another chance to get the intercept here.
Normally you can tell from the deflection, like the spin of the ball changes, but it was an ugly kick anyway that was spinning all sorts of directions.
125 points. It is, so you can get rid of that goal for Josh Kelly.
That's messed up your book there, Spring.
They've got the white out, which is never ideal. 125 points here. We've just hit time on now in the final term. Stop the fight, say the Bombers fans. McGrath kicks out. Whitfield gets up there strongly on Hobbs. Couldn't pull in the grab. It's a scrap there in the middle of Giant Stadium. The umpire says, give it to me.
Tom Green just hasn't... He's only had 36 now.
What's going on?
He's going for his record game. He's not getting there at the present.
He's thinking about carting Tripper next week.
Oh, yeah.
Bedford to Kelly. There he goes. Tom Green, just outside 50, drills one looking for Hogan, who's lying off 10 goals. He's okay, Jesse Hogan.
Get him off.
The boys he just pulled up a little bit short there, but he's lifted up the finger to say, no, I'm okay, boys, don't worry. He's not going to go off anytime soon. He wants 10, and they've already subbed off Toby Green, the Giants, and wrapped him up in cotton wool.
Back in it comes. Inside 50 here for the Giants. Hogan circling. Takes on Zirk Thatcher in his 50th game tonight. Bedford from the pocket here. Just wobbles a kick across the face. It hits the post. It's a minor score for the Giants again. 24-11, 155 to 4-5 at 29. Margin 126, the home side's favour.
That's enough to scare you.
I'm getting him off.
Nearly cramping. You'd be like, just get him off.
Get him off.
Get him off.
That would have been off 10 minutes ago if it was me.
There's Laverty in the right back pocket for Essendon. Kicks up to the wing. Whitfield's in front of Menzies and marking.
He's played extremely well as well tonight. You know, this is great for him. Just these signs.
Well, this kind of game you can wreak havoc when you've got a bit of space. Hogan leaps, looking to mark it. Off his hands. McGrath just kicks it anywhere, basically, away from trouble, but only as far as Harry Himmelberg, who winds up from 55 out, looking for Hogan again. Made his way to another contest. Off hands, Jesse Hogan with 9 goals to his name. Boundary throw in right forward pocket for GWS.
Get him off. This guy's everywhere.
You're right about Whitfield. 29, 88% kick efficiency. Whitfield.
Yeah, it was really standout tonight.
A lot of it's been without any pressure, hasn't it? Running through the middle of the ground.
Good ball user though, Lockie Whitfield.
Yeah.
Back in it comes Tom Green.
He's one of the best contested footballers you can see on his own 1v1. Rarely gets beaten, and he's a very competitive footballer. He's done. People give enough compliments that way, I think.
You got the second half yet in the soccer, Tiger, or are we still
half time?
Still half time. 1-0 Sweden.
Here, the highlights.
On the ABC Snap, you can find that. Back in it comes here at Giant Stadium. Phillips gets rid of Keith. Edging with the football here. Bumping it beyond defensive 50 here for the Bombers. Goes Nick Martin toward the commentary side. Himmelberg gathers, and Lloyd bundled out of bounds down there by Hobbs, who's had a breakout year, Ben Hobbs. He's been one of their highlights, the Bombers, this year, but obviously tonight's been a tough night for all of them. And the margin remains 126 points in the Giants' favour here, 24 gone final term.
Andy McGrath has 30 disposals. He's tried really hard down back, but they've been insipid, Essendon, as we've said numerous times. Here's Tom Green, possession number 38 for him. Bouncing ball now after he kicked it from that stoppage. McGrath's able to gather. Another touch for him. Nick Martin tries to bite off something in the middle of the ground. Phil just missed it. Caldwell was able to gather. They're still chasing hard, the Giants, so Kelly Hamble's under pressure, looking for Heppel. He kicks to centre half forward, and Hobbs has marked it on that spot, just outside 50. Too sure he likes himself for the distance, so he's going to chip it, and he will spot up Jai Caldwell, a former Giant who will look to kick only Essendon's 5th goal of the game from 30 out straight in front.
You were just talking about Hobbs in his year. He done that nicely. Big composure outside 50 and lowered his eyes. A nice little dinky kick.
So Jai Caldwell, one of many players drafted by GWS who departed the club. Early draft pick, lots of talent, and a pretty good year for Essendon. Was initially out of the 22 coming into this game, but a late change meant he was in, and he's got a goal for good measure. Essendon's 5th of what is now the night. Now 5-5-35. The problem for them, GWS are 24-11, 155.
How would you be if you're an Essendon supporter after paying for flights to come up here and accommodation, and your team performance throws that up?
Well, I think that's why they probably left in the second quarter to go and make the most of the weekend in Sydney and do something else.
I'll take a hit as well, percentage-wise, so back to 93. Not that it was any flash to begin with, the percentage. It was the worst of the sort of competing teams in that 11 or 12 that could still make it.
It pretty much rules them out now.
Well, it does now. Just the result alone does that. But, they've taken a hammering in a number of ways here, the Bombers.
My goodness, they don't deserve to play finals either way.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you perform like this 2 weeks out from September?
Well, the Dogs are going to win against the Eagles.
Yeah.
A big one, probably. So that the percentage will...
The restart. It's Sardis. It's wrapped up by Keith, holding the ball.
Where's Jesse?
Is it 50 as well? Or is it going to be... yes, 50 as well. So it's going to come down here towards centre half forward. We're taken by Lockie Keith. Jesse Hogan still out there. He is. He's trying to just jog into a spare bit of grass here at the top of the 50. Not so subtly, but Lockie Keith is well within range for his own goal here. 30 out, 35 out directly in front.
He wants it. This is great.
Thought I'll see what could happen.
I think he's telling Cornelia.
Lockie Keith would be a 12th different goal kicker for the Giants. Push the margin back to 126. He's shanked this, the big fella. He's missed minus score only. 121 the margin here. 24-13, 157 to 5-5. I beg your pardon, 156 to 5-5-35.
Was a ruckman's effort. Mason Redmond the ball back into play, as many a Bomber has had to do today in their own defensive goal square and in defensive 50. They've been pulverised. Kyle Langford's kicked a couple of goals, 50 for the season. He's in the back pocket at the moment. Kick is marked by Perkins on the wing. Chips it short, inboard to Zach Merritt. Giants fans, players, just hoping to not get injured now. Apart from Jesse Hogan, he wants 10 goals. Merritt kicks it inside 50, picked up by Himmelberg, throws it on the boot quickly. Through the hands of Nick Hind on the wing. Daniel Lloyd's chasing him. Hind goes laterally to McGrath, who picks it up. Now backwards to Zirk Thatcher. And he will chip it to the man standing deepest in defence in Kyle Langford.
Switch it across half-back here. Awkward full of Verdi, runs into Toby Bedford. Loose ball gathered here by Riccardi. Pops it back inside 50. Guess who's there? It's Tom Green.
Off the top, Hogan.
To Bedford now. Has the footy. Gets the hand pass off to Hogan. Top of the square. Has to leave one. Can't get boot to ball. Did he try again? It was wrapped up by Zirk Thatcher. The umpire says it's balled up. And everything but the finish that time from Jesse Hogan. He was a split second away. Wrapped up by Zirk Thatcher, and Jesse Hogan's 10th goal goes begging. Be a stoppage.
Great tackle.
Right next to the goal square here for the Giants, deep in attack. Phillips wins it to the outside. Hogan lurking toward the boundary line. The umpire will throw it back in.
It was great from Bedford as well, wasn't it? He could have easily kicked the goal himself. He's like, oh no, I'll try and get this to Jesse. Lower percentage play, but unfortunately didn't quite come off.
Only two players have kicked 10 this year, Taylor Walker and Charlie Curnow. Not sure anyone else has. Zach Merritt in defensive 50. Nick Hind. Time running out for Jesse Hogan to join them, although Lockie Ash has now marked The exiting kick from defensive 50, just outside attacking 50. All the Essendon defenders are trying to stop Jesse Hogan. They know that's where this ball is going to be aimed.
Oh, he's got the... No, they're not. Oh, God, he was on.
Lockie Ash kicks it long. Hogan's in the pack. Off hands. Lockie Keefe couldn't gather it. Puts a strong tackle on Laverty. Lloyd with a tackle on Zirk Thatcher as he caught holding the ball. No, ball up top of the square for GWS, who lead by 121 points.
121 points.
20-goal plus rout for the Giants. McMullen from the stoppage. It was a clean tap from Keith. McMullen does have his first goal in AFL footy. The sub into the game for Toby Green. Does a Toby Green thing. And his teammates come from everywhere to push that margin back to 127. This will be, with a couple of minutes left, or a minute left, this will be the Giants' biggest ever score by a fair way. In fact, it's just past the highest score, 160 it was back against Gold Coast in 2017. So highest score and their biggest ever win, which was previously 108. Now it's 127 here. The scoreline in full is 25-12, 162 to Essendon 5-5-35. Half an hour mark, final turn.
And it will be the 5th biggest loss in the history of the Essendon Football Club.
And that's more context there. Yeah. The Giants' history is relatively new, but you're talking 120 plus years of history there for the Bombers.
5-5-35 they have kicked. What a moment for Toby McMullen. His second game, managing to kick a goal. Here's Draper. One harm pinged by Cullen Ward, but he gets the kick free inside 50 for Essendon. Jai Menzies gathers it. He snaps on goal. It will float across the face though and through for a behind. So they are 5-6-36 Essendon. GWS 25-12 or 162.
Up next, off to St Kilda Geelong at Docklands or Adelaide Sydney. If you're listening through local radio South Australia or news radio in New South Wales. Hilberg kicks beyond defensive 50. One last coaster goes over there for the Giants. Whitfield's kick to find Tom Green. Controls it now. 34 seconds left. Where's Jesse Hogan? He's still out there. He's out in that. He's the deepest forward on the ground now. Marked by Ward, 65 from goal. Loads up into the pocket. He can find Riccardi. Riccardi wants to give the hand pass off. No, he realises Hogan is wide the boundary line. And Riccardi will take the set shot for the final action of the game.
He's still looking at it.
It's almost. He wasn't ready for it. He wasn't ready for it, Jesse Hogan. He'll finish on 9 goals. And meantime, Jake Riccardi will go back for his second. And it's been a statement win from Adam Kingsley and the Giants. The Orange Tsunami will swarm towards finals. There's still one game to go next week. But they've flexed their muscle with a 20-plus goal winner here. Here's Riccardi after the full-time siren, right across the face. He's missed the lot. No change to our score. It's the Giants, 25-12, 162 to Essendon, 5-6-36. Margin 126. What a big win for the Giants.
It's the sound of the mighty Giants. Feel the ground is shaking. The other teams are quaking in their boots before the Giants. We take the longest strides and the highest leap. We're stronger than the rest. We're the greater Western Sydney Giants. We're the biggest and the best. And we will never surrender. We'll fight until the end. We're greater than the rest.
Their biggest ever win. Jesse Hogan kicked 9. It was 3 goals for Brent Daniels, 2 for Bedford and Toby Green. Singles for Cornelio, Lockie Ash, also Jake Riccardi, Harry Himmelberg, Toby McMullen, Josh Fay and Daniel Lloyd, as well as Callum Brown. While for the Bombers, it was 2 for Cole Langford, singles for Caldwell, Phillips and Jai Menzies, led by 39 points at quarter time, 70 points at half time, 98 the final change and 126 the final margin. Their biggest ever win and Essendon's 5th biggest ever loss. They are done in season 2023. So, sorry, Dons fans, as you may have already suspected, they're playing for only pride next week against Collingwood in round 24. Before we drop off listeners to most of our audience to Docklands for the Saints and the Cats, massive game that one, by the way, as well. A closing thought from Jason Taddington and Ty Cannelli, your experts.
Well, absolute demolition job out there tonight. Coming into the game, and we couldn't believe it was an elimination final, 2 teams, season on the line. Winner's going to get another crack to go through another week to try and make the top 8, and the loser was going to struggle. But you didn't expect the absolute whitewash that we saw. The Giants just had it on a string all night. It was easy footy, and I mean, we'll probably go through some of the numbers shortly, but that just highlight how much of a demolition job it was. Essendon thoroughly disappointing, and I know the fans on the text line were bitterly disappointed with what they saw from their team. They just got completely outplayed across the park, but all credit to the Giants. I mean, they were brilliant. They completely dominated the Bombers, and what a night out for Jesse Hogan. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it's great, and that's the little subplots to the game itself. Jesse Hogan and obviously Tom Green with his big performance, Whitfield with his damaging by feet. But for mine, it's more the bigger story of the Essendon piece. And there's a loss like this, and look, don't take away from the Giants and their ability to be clinical and take the game when it was there. And the game was over after the first 20 minutes.
Yeah,
it was over after 20 minutes. You can tell. And the lack of leadership and a lack of want and intent and effort from Essendon, it's just as bad as I've seen any football club in a long, long time.
7 goals to 1 in that first term, which set things up for the Giants. What a win that is. That's their 12th of the year, of course, and that percentage boost as well was pretty handy for calculations next week. If you're listening through Victoria, Tasmania, WA and the Northern Territory, you're off to St Kilda and Geelong at Docklands with Ben Cameron, Jess Webster, Luke Ball and Nathan Burke. Massive game, the Saints and the Cats, to again shape the top 8 with one round after this to come in this grandstand AFL season. Farewell if you're leaving us now. Well, we carry on for those on local radio South Australia and News Radio in SA, heading off to an equally big game in the Crows and the Swans up next. Ty Cannelli and Jason Saddington, your experts here. We'll try and get some reaction downstairs from the Giants' rooms, but what an absolutely massive win.
Inside 50, 70 to 41 in favour of GWS, obviously. Some of the stats, Tom Green, 39 disposals, 18 of those contested. He was brilliant from the first bounce. 9 clearances, 6 inside 50s, 11 score involvements. Canelio had 31. Across half back with little pressure from the Bombers. Himmelberg had 30 disposals to cut up the Bombers, as did Lockie Whitfield with 30. Josh Kelly ended up managing 30 touches. Callan Ward was excellent from the word go as well with 30. Lockie Ash gave them plenty of run. He had 25. Jesse Hogan obviously starring with 9 goals. Daniels kicked 3, Bedford 2. For the Bombers, I mean, the likes of McGrath and Hine tried hard across half-back. McGrath had 32 possessions, Nick Hine 28, Merritt and Parrish were just smashed in the middle, 27 and 25, though, possessions each. And Sam Draper, I mean, only 7 touches for the game. He hadn't played since round 13. You could tell early he seemed off the pace. That's where, for mine, a lot of the tone was set early, because Briggs just dominated Draper in the middle of the ground.
Yeah, you said it, first centre bounce, I think it was 3-1 clearances from the game itself, the first 4 clearances of the game. And Briggs has had a great year, but if you're out for that long, you want to come with some intent initially to actually set the tone for your football club. And I agree with Garby, that's where it didn't happen. They didn't test Briggs out whatsoever, and Phillips even was trying to stretch him or actually test him out going either way. But he wasn't on his own, but it does start with the ruckman for mine.
And I mean, the other piece too is the amount of footy the Giants were able to win off half back and just go through the middle. Every time Lockie Ash or Lockie Whitfield, even Himmelberg won the footy, they were able to just handball and chain their way through with that.
Daniel Lloyd, by the way, has been he's leading the team off much to the excitement and insistence of his teammates. There was a Lloydie chant as well for the final home game, although I wouldn't put it past them to have a game here in a few weeks' time, a home final, the Giants.
And he might just get to 100 games as well. That was his 97th, so 98 next week. If they win a final, he gets to 100, and that apparently is something the Giants are hoping will inspire them.
In the Giants' rooms, Declan Byrne waiting for them downstairs.
Yeah, we're just waiting for them to come in with
heading your way, Declan.
It is a packed homeroom in here. One of the biggest of the season for sure, and as they make their way in, rapturous applause. And I'm just keeping my distance because they've loaded up the sports drinks in the middle. I've clicked. It's Toby McMullen's first win, so I dare say he's about to get a shower as well. And the phones are up. Family and friends going wild as they get their circle ready for the biggest win in Giants history. Yes, and Toby McMullen was trying to hide. He's getting showered now. And I'm trying to shield. There is sports drink everywhere. They circle up. Here comes a big rendition of the song.
Points, the final margin. That's a 21-goal win, the biggest in Giants history. We'll get some reaction downstairs quickly if we can, off air in 5.5 minutes' time. Who's doing our 3-2-1 votes? We haven't... Take a pick.
Oh, looks like you've Tigers handballed it to me. I got it.
Right, go on then.
They're not hard to do.
You want it now?
Right. Yeah, if you can.
Yeah, well, we can do it now. Let's start one vote.
Let's leave that until we get back into the Giants' rooms to Declan Byrne.
Yeah, we're down here with Tom Green, a record win for the Giants. Those nights must be the most fun to play.
Yeah, it is very fun. I mean, there's something in winning a really close one, but there's also a lot of fun in a win like that, which is the first one I've really played in. So yeah, it's a super enjoyable night, and it was great for guys like Hose and Lloydie and that sort of thing.
Yeah, talk to us about Jesse Hogan. First time he's kicked more than 7 goals. He's kicked 9 in this record win. What does he mean to the group?
Yeah, he's a superstar, and it's good to see that he got some great opportunity, and he's unbelievable. His hands are ridiculous.
Look, we're going to have to let Tom go. He's going into the meeting, so we'll head back up to you guys for the votes.
No worries, Declan.
What do they have to meet about?
Well, what a tease here from Tom Green. All right, Sado.
That's a good segue into the vote.
Yeah, go on.
Because I've got one vote for Tom Green. Ooh. And you get 39 touches, you only get one vote. That's a bit stiff sometimes. But he was huge.
11 scoring.
Yeah, 18 contested possessions, 39. Well, hang on, wait till you get to the 2 and 3 and you'll be like, fair enough.
Maybe I should have done it.
He's got the one. 2 votes, Lockie Whitfield. Now, Lockie Whitfield off halfback, 30 possessions, but just to set up, he had 11 score involvements, 7 marks, 7 inside 50s. His boys was sublime. He was just, he really set them up and set up the guy that got the 3 votes in Jesse Hogan. I mean, it's a no-brainer, that one. Well, what a game of footy. I mean, 12 contested positions, 17 marks. 17 marks as a key forward is huge, and obviously 9 goals. Yeah, he just had an unbelievable day out there, Jesse Hogan.
I want to ask the players what it was like in those final moments, just getting the ball to him, or how aware, of course, they were of that 10-goal milestone. And it's such a rare thing in footy as well. But when you're up by that much, you can do that kind of stuff.
Well, that's interesting from Adam Kingsley maybe to bring him in for a meeting. So he might have assessed that as a coach and gone, all right, this is a mammoth win. There's going to be a lot of woo-haring and all the rest of it. We've got a massive game next week, another elimination final, and he's probably, I dare say, trying to set their minds straight away. He knows they're going to enjoy the win, but get them straight into that mode from the off. Carlton next week, do not get carried away.
Yeah, you've won nothing. You haven't made the 8, and you know they could still miss the 8 if they win this, if they beat Carlton. There's every possibility with the percentage going against them and whatnot. But you do got to celebrate it, and Adam's been great like that throughout the year for the football team, and the difficult challenge they had last year on coming in and enjoying the wins and the results that they had. But 100% as a coach, I'll be going, right, you nearly don't want to watch it. You just go, move on. That was deplorable from the opposition. Are we going to gain a whole lot from it? Probably not. Oh no, Sweden just after scoring a second. So just watching the screen.
2-0 there, by the way, on the ABC Listen. You can find coverage of that. But you're right, the situation now means the top 4 are locked away. It's still a matter of the order there, I suppose, but generally it's Collingwood, Brisbane, Port, Melbourne. Carlton have shot up 5th. I mean, the Saints can still get there, but they've got Geelong happening right now. It's a huge game. The Giants, now, of course, they could go to 6th if the Saints fall, if they lose to the Cats by even just a few goals. But the Swans can also get up there as well. So they can jump the Giants. Even with this big win tonight, they can win tonight against the Crows and replace them up into 7th. So
Sorry, it's the Swans are the ones, isn't it? If the Swans win both their games, they'll jump the Giants, isn't it?
And half a game back from there, the Dogs have the Eagles tomorrow, so they'll win that and win it well. They've got the Cats next. There are some massive games. Forget the wild card round. These are your wild card rounds. When it's organic, when it's authentic, it all falls into place. There is nothing better. Unfortunately, today Essendon, the lights were too bright, and they were soundly beaten by the Giants.
But that's going to be a big story. There's something wrong there. There has to be something wrong inside that club to almost get beaten by West Coast, almost get beaten by North at this stage of the season, and then get smashed by 126 points in a virtual elimination final. I'm not sure what it is. I'm not saying it's something they can't recover from. I dare say they can. But something has gone horribly wrong inside that playing group towards the end of the season.
Sometimes you look at it and the players out there in the list a little bit, it's like who are the ones that you can rely on to actually stand up and step up when things get tough. And I feel like they just lack, and I think you mentioned a little bit, Tiger, around leadership. They do lack, a core group of real strong, reliable leaders that are hard, they're tough. Callum Wards that are just going to constantly step up, and they've got some grit and fight that you can rely on week in, week out to do the job. And I don't know, they're a great front-running team, and they've got some fantastic players and class and skill, but when things
they
are
have
tough,
improved. They have. The 7 wins last year, defensively they were atrocious last year. No, we didn't see it tonight, but it's going to be hard for Essendon football fans to actually see that.
And the finals drought continues.
Yeah.
Without a final, nearly 20 years now. Next year will be 20 years without a finals win for the Bombers. We're all on deck next week at the SCG, aren't we? I think the 4 of us, or the 5 of us, with Declan as well. So we'll see you there, guys. Thanks, Sado. Thanks, Ty, for your efforts tonight. Thank you, Garby.
Thanks, mate.
See you there as always. Thanks to our tech, Tegan Nichols, to Declan Byrne on the boundary, and to Mitch Turner back in the studio as well. To you, most importantly, for your company, for local radio SA or News Radio New South Wales. Up next, we're off to Adelaide and the Swans. Next, enjoy that.